All right, looks like I am live. So I just started this hangout. Hey, Brojo. Hi, Brojo, are you in here? I see your. Oh, that must be outside chat. Okay, 1 second. I'm gonna get a link. I'm gonna get all the links here. Let's see. How do I? Oh yeah, I just copied the top here. All right, 1 second. Control copy. Now I gotta open up the YouTube. Go to the YouTubes. And where am I at here? I should be. Let's go to my channel, I guess. My channel. Open discussion. And am I able to? Why isn't it the chat? Okay, I hear myself. So I don't know if I gotta. I'm waiting for a live chat here to boot. I know I'm refresh. Oh, there it is. Oh, okay. Now it disappeared again. I guess I gotta wait for a minute. Sorry, I'm just waiting for the. I'm on the YouTube channel. I'm waiting for the chat to populate so I can post a link here. Sorry, I'm just waiting for the. I'm on the YouTube channel. I'm waiting for the chat to populate so I can post a link here. Oh, there it goes. Okay, there's the link to if you want to come in. Now what do I have to do to pin this? Oops, I didn't want to do that. There's the link to if you want to come in. What do I have to do to pin message? Okay, that's done. So there's a link if you want to come in, and I'm actually gonna close this and go back to my StreamYard. You have YouTube feed open? Yeah, I know. Okay, echo. If YouTube feed open. Turn that down. Thank you. Yeah, if you want to come in, there's a link if anybody wants to come in. I'm going to post that also to our little chat. Here you go. If you want to come in. I know William was in there. I don't know if he wants to come in. Okay, so you already put that in there. Why didn't? Okay, let me see. Okay, here's the StreamYard chat link if anybody wants to come in. It's also in the chat. So William, if you want to come in. I just got a notification. Watch Praise I Am in 30 minutes. Yeah, I don't think so. Maybe I will pull it up. I'll throw this here. Okay, well, I'm not sure. Oh, here I'm picking my nose and stuff. Okay, I'm not. Just put my phone where I can watch it, where I can watch the YouTube feed in case for some reason. Why is that not going all the way? Oh, hold on. It should be, yeah, there we go. Closer to there. All right, well, I guess, I just got done listening to myself. I just got done listening to a live stream from my friend Chris Fisher. Reality isn't optional YouTube page. So that was kind of cool. But that ended, and then I was interacting with William in the chat. Brojo's 420 Cafe chat, that is. Or is that what? No, it's the space is Brojo's happy chat. That's what it is. Okay, so anyways, bourbon is the ideal lubricant for political discourse. Yeah, that's what I think. Yeah. I don't think. I wonder if they. I wonder how old bourbon is. Isn't bourbon like a Tennessee product or something? So I'm thinking maybe the founders weren't drinking bourbon up in, you know, in congressional, the congressional, what was it? Up in Philadelphia, it was for a while, right? The Congressional Congress where they sat. Anyways, so I'm just hanging out here. If anybody's anybody's welcome to come in, I suppose. And I'm just waiting for somebody to do such. I haven't heard a bloop, bloop, a little sound yet. Echo, you have feed open, posted YouTube link. Yeah, I see that. But thanks, Brojo. Why don't you come in and say hi, Brojo? It's not quite past your bedtime, is it? It's kind of nice that you can keep track of the YouTube chat inside the StreamYard. So, anyways, this can turn into whatever kind of chat you guys want to make it. After I smoke this cigarette, I'm gonna play my guitar for a little bit or something while I talk about shit, I guess. Hope everybody had a good weekend. It's I guess it's getting about over. I was gonna work. I don't know. Ended up working Saturday and Sunday, or today somewhat, but not to any great extent. So I got some work to do on Monday. It's a big water leak in this apartment that I gotta scope out and see what the source of the water is. Looks like it's a bathtub up above or something. So, anyways, gotta figure that out. And then I got an apartment to paint. A little 1-bedroom apartment. So I'm in the middle of that right now. So yeah. So I don't know. It's not really 11 o'clock on the East Coast on Sunday night. It's pretty late in the week to be holding late night hangouts, but who knows? We'll see what happens. Yeah, so anyways, yeah. Open discussion, I think I put on there, so I guess there's not any subject that's off topic. I think Wildheart must be crashed. Let's see, it's about 4 a.m. in England, where he's at right now. Let's see, I think it might be 5 o'clock in Norway. I wonder if Balthasar's going to be up in the morning early or not. I haven't talked to him for a while. But Jill versus... Oh, right now about slavery? Hey, Brojo, is it like... is there any problem putting that stream on and like for me to comment on it? Do you think anybody would care? Or is that against YouTube rules? Is Jill on camera? Oh, it's ending? Mm. I take it Jill didn't come on camera, or was he? I think debates, I think he should be on camera during debates, don't you? I could put that up as a poll question. When you're having live stream debates, shouldn't you be on camera? He says nope. Jill, he's so funny. Brojo, were you watching much of the debate? How did it, and if you did, how did it seem to go? And I don't recall. I remember, I think Jill was describing this Mark Reed guy, but I'm not recalling. Let me, I'll go ahead and pull that up. Okay, I'm trying to. I don't know. I don't know that I follow Jill. Oh, here it is. Okay. Oh, okay. I'm gonna share this. Oh, hey, Brojo. I was gonna share this just for grins.
Yeah, after a certain amount of time, I just had enough of listening to Jill keep
Oh, you
interrupting.
wanna? Okay.
Name
Never
calling.
mind. Then I'll stop
He
sharing.
found it. He found it. Yeah.
I thought it was something maybe you were interested in, or it would be
I was
interesting.
watching. No, I watched a little bit of it,
Mm-hmm.
but
Yeah, that part was just interesting. Jill just basically conceded my argument. He was saying, uh, "Well, it's
but
11
I
o'clock."
agree. I'm a total advocate. I find it when these debates that
Oh, as to my
it
question,
seems that
yeah,
most of them are like it seems that most theists don't show their face in some of these debates, and I think one should show their face if you're debating, having a formal debate.
I mean, if you're having a debate online, come on, you're on
Yeah,
YouTube. It's a debate, especially. I don't know. There's just something about it's more honest
right.
because I mean, you get the impression sometimes that there's, how do you know how many fools are there at his desk giving him info or whatever? I mean, or what he's doing, while he's
Well, I'm more about
talking
seeing.
or
I like to see the body language.
that's what I mean. You see,
Yeah,
you like to see how honest the person is or,
dishonest.
whatever. You get you want to get the sense of how he's coming across, right? You right?
Right.
You want to look him in the eyes or you want to see his face when he's talking. I do anyways.
Yeah,
Speaking of which,
yeah. Whatever.
so what are you up to?
Um,
Did you
I
work in your
was.
yard this weekend?
No, no, it was raining.
I know.
Um,
Yeah, we got rain that came through before. I figured you'd get some, just because it passed through here first.
I watched the Eagles clobber Washington today. I mean, that was cool. I mean, it was all
Oh,
right.
that's good. Do you happen to know? I didn't watch or hear anything. I think the Lions played today. Did you happen to see who beat them?
No, I was just watching that game. It's the only game I'm really interested in. Anything else, any other game,
Okay, usually they might
unless they're
show.
competing with
Usually,
the Eagles, you know,
okay. Yeah, yeah. We're not in the division, I guess.
I don't get hung up on all that stuff. You know what I'm saying?
I just thought you might have saw some scores, while you were watching the game. Let me see.
I
I'll look.
probably
I'll
did,
look it
but
up.
don't remember them. They might be planted in my subconscious.
Yeah, let's see if I can dig it out. Detroit Lions.
So yeah, watch the game. Um,
Oh, we won against the Washington Commanders,
you're a Lions
36 to
fan.
27.
You're a Lions
Oh,
fan.
well, I live in Detroit. I'm kind of born here. Uh,
My condolences.
wait, actually, we lost to Minnesota 28 to 24 today. Last week we beat the
Close.
Commanders. Yeah. Okay. Dang.
So is Minnesota like the rivalry over there?
It depends. I mean, it goes by year. Like we've had our different rivalry. Like in our division, it's been the Vikings, the Packers, the Bears, and the Lions. That's it. Those are the four. All of those can be, rivals depending on what year it is. But
I never understood why Dallas is in the Eastern Division.
yeah, it's weird, isn't it? Now
Uh,
there is this brown. It's I don't know if it's a little brown jug or there's some kind of trophy like that always gets switched between Minnesota and the Lions depending on who won the last game. So it's like the whoever won the last game keeps it, until they lose, kind of
Oh,
thing. And I think there was a period of time where, like, Minnesota had that fucker for like 9 years or something. Shit.
no.
I think the rule was you had to beat them at home, to get the
How,
trophy,
how
to
did
get
that
the thing
tradition?
back.
How did that tradition start?
Yeah, I don't know.
I
It's just
swear.
one of those
But it's
things.
a fun kind of thing, I
I
guess.
I like that kind of thing. Those are cool.
Keeps yeah.
Yeah, it's a little, it adds a little Americana sort of to the whole thing. I mean, I always liked the fact, the Lions were the only team to play on Thanksgiving. That was kind of cool, except we were such a shitty team.
It
That's why
serves
all
a
the teams
purpose in
love.
the schools, team spirit, getting behind a team and,
Hmm.
being competitive, you know,
That's what I
on
liked
top
about
of your
high
game,
school and college sports.
yeah.
I like college sports a lot, I think, but like in that way, it's sort of more pure or something. I don't know. On the other hand, I don't know. Everything's so commercialized now. So much money, just changes everything. As far as the football stuff, sports.
I was noticing, when they were doing the whole thing with the back of the helmets, everybody was doing their messaging during COVID or end rate
On
or during the
NFL stuff,
whole,
you mean?
yeah, during the BLM stuff, the riots before that.
Where, okay, so you'd see like a BLM patch, or yeah, like
Right, well, they
yeah.
were putting on the back of the helmet and racism or spread
Well,
love
fucking
or
what's his name taking the knee, that started,
so I was noticing today that like half the players like they don't have anything now in the back of the helmet, and others
oh,
are mostly just trying to be more
like,
positive. But you had this one message in the back, like on the goalpost, that said "End racism." You know, which all right, I get behind end racism. All right, yeah, all right.
well, yeah, but where is the racism happening? That's what racism are they really talking about? I mean, come on. I mean, there's no more there isn't any racism, like there's no systemic racism in America. We've kind of dealt with that. And for the most part, anybody that's like racist, actually racist, I mean, that's why do you think the
There's
Democrats
no
push
denying
all
they're a
that
racist.
shit?
You don't deny they're a racist, though.
Well, the thing is, the reason, I mean, why do you think, I don't know. I mean, I don't deny that there are, of course, people are racist, right?
Uh-huh.
Most of
Uh-huh.
them are Democrats. I mean, I
Well,
wouldn't deny that.
I don't know about that, but
Of course, anybody that wants to do affirmative action, they're racist, okay? They're trying to make race, they're doing things based on race. To
are you
me,
telling
that's
me there's no?
racism.
You tell me, okay. You're saying most of them are Democrats. That's
Yeah, because they're the ones that want to institute systemic racism. All in the name of fixing, stuff from the past or something, making up for something or whatever. I mean, it's all, supposedly for good reasons, but yeah,
I
it's
understand. I
to me,
understand.
it's all bullshit. Yeah, it's racist. You know,
I understand
just
that.
admit it. Admit it's racist, and you want to be, you want to make racist
I just
policies.
don't like broad brushing. That's not because I'm sure there are Republican racists.
What policies do you know of that Republicans are championing that are racist? That involve
Well, I can't say I'm
making
the same.
that
I'm
are
saying
that are
individual on an
you know
individual basis because that's what we're talking about. Individuals being racist, right?
well
Because if you're saying
okay
that
it
racism is not a systemic problem, but then
there
go and
there
say,
is no
then go
systemic
and say
racism.
that
Hmm.
Democrats are racist, most of them are racist, then there
Yeah.
is a systemic problem.
No, no, no.
No,
There's not. That
no,
doesn't follow. No,
no.
individually, there are a bunch. These people that I'm just talking about the ones that are pushing racist policies. I would just have to call them racist, you know. So I call them that as individuals, right? I'm not broad brushing anyone. I would just limit it to those who are pushing, racist, race-based policies for, because those people are trying to institute systemic racism back into the society, which I thought we were fighting to get rid of all that shit. Now, okay, so that leaves. Okay, so if you admit or at least agree to like a large extent, we've gotten rid of the systemic racism, at least by law, legally, right? The legal system, right?
Yeah.
And dealing in public or where you can go, everybody under the law is equal now, as far as I know. There's no inequalities under the law for any one citizen against another. That's what I'm talking about. So that leaves us a bunch of racists out there. Some people are prejudiced or whatever. But so this little sticker on the back of this guy's head, end racism. Okay, if that's all he's talking about is wherever you see it, let's be against that. Yay! Who's against that, Brojo?
I'm against
I mean,
it.
why? In other words,
not-
why
I'm
have
not
the fucking
against ending
sticker?
racism.
Why have
I'm
the fucking
for-
sticker on there? Why not? End world hunger. I mean, I'm just saying it. Why that? End racism, or whatever it was.
It's a nice
I
little
mean, where
motto.
and where is racism?
With the
Like,
NFL,
where
we-
is it a problem? Who suffers from the kind of racism you're talking about?
Do you think? But why do we get? Okay. If racism is not a thing anymore, why do we continue to
I
do?
didn't say it wasn't a thing. I'm admitting there are racist people out there, but like I would say, look, okay, so everybody, in your everyday life, I'm an electrician. I used to go on, we'd go on big industrial
just saying,
jobs. There might be 300 electricians on the job, right? And in the course of working construction, right, there's travelers from all over the country on the job as well. I mean, there's just a mix of people, and
Right.
you find, you run into cats that are fucking, they say shit that is not really polite to say, and it indicates that they're fucking racist, right?
Right.
Okay, so you see those people, but now even most of those people, they understand that when they're in the system, they're not gonna. They understand that if they were to say something wrong at the wrong, at the wrong time, let's say, where the wrong people were hearing it, that they would be thrown off the job because of violating, because of the racial slurs or whatever. It would, right? Companies take that. If there was a complaint by an employee, right? You come to any company these days, and a black person goes to them and says, "Hey, this guy's, talking shit about my race here, He's, blah, blah, blah." They're going to fucking be all over that shit, right? That's just the way corporate America is now. So, I don't know, yeah, I mean, I don't know. I guess but so because of that, I mean, the racists, they're it's just like, being a homo back in the day or whatever. You'd keep it in the closet. You'd wait till you were among friends that were like-minded.
Wait, wait,
before
you're equating racism with homosexuality?
Well, I mean, they're both a, defect, let's say.
Oh boy. Well, I would disagree with you there.
Oh, you don't think homosexual, you don't think that's a defect in a
defect?
person's
No.
sexuality?
No,
Why not?
I don't think you have.
You think it's
I don't think
normal?
you have. I don't think you have control over who you're attracted to.
You don't think you have control over who you're attracted to?
Right.
I don't know what that means. Yeah. I think that's bunk, but I mean, I doubt that there's any studies that back that up.
if you're attracted, it's just like no different. Say certain women you're attracted to, and certain other
Yeah.
women
Okay.
don't. You're not attracted to. It's like well, some people might be attracted to someone of the same
Okay.
sex,
Rojo.
and they'll have even a certain you know way, certain
Right.
personality or look that they're attracted to, and
Okay.
it's in
But
their makeup, it's in their biology.
is that what you think?
You don't have no control over that.
Well, how come so many homosexuals have a sexual abuse in their past?
I don't know. Do you have statistics for that?
Are you doubting me?
Yes, I'm doubting you.
So you don't think most homosexuals were victims of sexual abuse
I don't know if it's
in
most.
their
I don't
early?
know if it's most homosexuals. And then what about the people who are not homosexual who have experienced abuse?
What about them?
So okay, well, you're saying that you're trying to take
Abuse is terrible, but
a causation here,
I'm saying
kind of
no.
thing.
What I'm saying is, if if uh, if because of abuse, sexual abuse,
Hmm.
if people are if it is the case that being sexually abused is a strong indicator for homosexuality, or
Hmm.
if there's a strong correlation between those two things, then it,
What
I
would
don't
be a
see how
strong
you I don't see
correlation?
how you could I don't see how you couldn't wouldn't have to admit that like homosexuality is more like a defect,
You
something.
have to have statistics then to prove that correlation.
Yeah, okay. Well,
Kind of
correlation,
evidence.
you could show correlation, but that's, that doesn't mean causation, to be fair, right? So, but you could go, I could appeal to, nature itself.
Do you know any
Nature itself.
homosexuals?
Hold on.
Do you know any
Of course, I know
homosexuals?
many homosexuals. I was
Oh,
married
okay.
to a
So
flight attendant for
have
10
you asked
years.
them about? I know it's a personal question, but
Hmm.
have most of them told you that they're homosexual because they were abused as a child?
I, I, you know, um, I don't know that, like, I never knew any, like the ones that in the airline, like when I was married to the flight attendant, and I have, we'd be on trips and at hotels, and sometimes we'd have drinks and stuff,
Hmm.
before we go up to our rooms, it's things like that. So it wasn't really, the kind of, like, I never really had an opportunity to, press them, or
They're just business
inquire, like,
associates.
in a, I
They were
never
just
was.
business associates. It wasn't proper.
Right. I mean, I hadn't become a friend and,
Right. So
pals,
they're not
where
really.
now I can ask them, hey, man, what's the deal with this, um but, like, but I, like, look, I like, okay, so what about how about the fact that nature itself kind of tells you that homosexuality is not natural? I mean, do you think it's
What's
homosexuality is
natural?
natural? I mean, huh?
If someone is attracted to someone of the same sex, isn't that natural? They're being natural.
I no, I don't. I think it's
They're in nature,
unnatural.
aren't they?
No, I think it's unnatural to stick a penis
Well,
in an
there are animals
ass.
that have homosexual tendencies.
Well, those are, uh, why? I mean, those are defects in nature. There are
Oh
obvious
no, those are
defects in
defects
nature.
too. Now nature has defects.
Well, they're obvious defect in
Why
an
is it an
animal
obvious
because,
defect? Why is it an
well, how
obvious
is it?
why is it an obvious defect and not just a percentage of nature acts in this matter? It's just nature. Why
Well,
is it a defect?
because of the procreation and
Procreate. It's not
the
affecting
sexual
procreation.
organs being obviously for
It's not affecting
procreation.
procreation, my friend. We have 8 billion people on the earth.
No, we're talking about the animal world.
The animal world's still going.
No, the animal world, right? The sexual organs are for procreation. I mean, that's just, I mean, if you don't see that. And so
So do you think humans
Animals that
humans should only you think
two part
humans
two.
you,
Mm,
do you think humans like animals then should only have sex to procreate?
no.
Okay, so
That
then
doesn't even
why is
follow.
it part
But
of it?
we're talking about. See the difference. We can look at the animals, right? They don't have any, you know. Yeah, they're social creatures to some extent. Blah blah blah.
Uh-huh.
But they
Yeah.
don't have the, they don't have the minds that we do and stuff. Okay, so you
Well, what
know,
about apes?
yeah, they don't have the
or
minds we have.
elephants. They have like you're talking about emotions and stuff, or
Well, I'm talking about something as aberrant as a homosexual getting together, two animals of the same sex getting together, right?
or don't we?
That's an aberration of nature. Not it's a rarity in nature. It's the oddity, right? That's why we
It's a
know
small
it's like
percentage.
unnatural, more or less. Huh?
Well, I don't know. I don't have examples in front of me, but I'm sure I can dig up some examples of homosexual behavior. Either I'm sure I don't know how they procreate. I don't think they're solely homosexual. I don't know.
Okay,
We
well,
certainly have
wouldn't
species
you
that are
admit? Okay,
asexual, or
wouldn't you
even
admit?
I mean
Huh?
worms are both sexes, right?
Well, if you're gonna go from a strictly
Does that
evolutionary,
make them bisexual? A worm is bisexual.
well, I, I don't think the
I mean,
word
if they have both sex
bisexual.
organs, aren't
I
they
don't think
bisexual?
I think it's hermaphroditic or something. There's a term. They're hermaphrodites, not bisexual. But I mean, in a way, they are bisexual, right? Because they're two sexes.
But yeah, if they can have sex with,
I don't
well, they
think they
have
can have
sex with
sex
another
with
worm,
them.
which is both sexes, so they're
No,
bisexual.
but the question would be, could they have sex with themselves?
Well, if they could have sex with themselves, then you would have a problem of procreation.
Then you'd have a lot of fucking worms around.
I mean, how about well, if half the guys can fuck themselves, we would definitely have a
Right? Like
problem
if it
procreating.
right, if a guy had a chance to fuck himself, man, he would never come out of the house, right?
That's right.
It's
There you go. Oh, okay. I don't need a woman anymore. That's it. I'm done for
oh
sure.
my god.
Yeah, but I don't. I don't think it's a defect. Um, I
It's bad for it's detrimental to societal, function,
I was.
I would say. The promotion of that,
Well,
because
you're equating homosexuality with like now we're getting into morality now, right?
no, I'm not. No, I'm just
Well, you're saying
not.
it's affecting society is a bad thing. So
Oh well,
you're saying,
it would be I think, yeah, I don't think it's a positive thing to promote homosexuality. Like we don't promote retardedness. Like, hey, let's.
well, see now you're equating.
Of
See
course,
what you're doing. Do you hear yourself,
yeah,
Ironic?
I
Do
do
you
hear
hear yourself?
myself.
Right. So
I'm
you're
dead
equating
serious.
homosexuality with retardedness.
Well, I said it's a defect.
Uh,
Retardedness is a defect in a person's,
yeah.
DNA, right? Or whatever. Now, we don't disparage the retarded, or
Uh,
we love them, we care for them. If they're our family members,
oh, and
they're
now I feel
equal
like
parts of
I'm listening to a
they're an
comedy act.
equal member of our families. I mean, that's how we treat people,
Oh my
regardless if they're
god.
defective or not.
Should we give a? We should give them. So
But you don't
now,
want everybody to be
that
retarded, do
so
you?
should homosexuals now have handicap parking privileges?
Should they have handicap parking privileges? Uh, a good
How
argument
many
could be
viewers do
made.
we have? Do we have
A
any
good
viewers?
argument could be made for that, I
Do we have
suppose.
any viewers? Ironic.
One viewer.
One viewer. It's just me and you here,
It's
right?
probably
It's
just. Well,
probably
there was
yeah,
like
yeah. Because it's
three or
it's
four
my.
earlier.
I have YouTube open now. It's just now you have zero viewers.
Okay. Well, that's good. Well, it doesn't mean it can be discussed later.
No. What's my train of thought?
I mean, look, I do come from I come from a Christian worldview, and I believe that's the way the world is. I believe God is part of this world. I believe, and I'm not appealing to the Bible here necessarily. I'm just saying, there's there's ways that the world has been ordered to work, and homosexuality doesn't
So
fit
then,
into the natural order of things the way God designed
so
it.
whose fault is that? So whose fault is that?
Whose fault?
Yeah, I mean, God designed
Men,
it, right?
men, men are.
God designed it.
Well, yeah, he designed it that men would be responsible for their own decisions. So what's wrong with that?
Did God say in the Ten Commandments, "Thou shalt not be gay"?
Did he say in the Ten Commandments?
Thou shalt not be gay.
Well, I think nature itself. Well, I mean, God gave a,
We-
he
Sounds like
gave
to me you're
certain
picking and
people.
choosing what laws you're going to follow and obey.
No, you're asking me questions about God. I'm just, the only thing I can appeal to is the Bible. But,
Right.
God was very limited. Like he revealed himself to Israel, and he
God is
gave
limited.
that. Say again.
You say God is limited.
No, I'm saying God limited himself to reveal. Like he didn't reveal himself to all the world, like he did to Israel. So I was just making note of, he did,
Why
the
not?
evidence I have to go on is that he revealed himself to this one nation, and this is where we have some writings that this guy Moses, right, and all this.
Why didn't he
So,
reveal himself to the world?
well, I think he has revealed him. I mean, he had. First of all, I
I
mean,
don't know. Chinese don't believe in no Yahweh.
right, but I believe God. I mean,
Well, this Christian
I
Chinese.
I would say God has revealed himself to every person. Every person fundamentally, when they start out their life, they know God
Oh,
is
certainly, yeah, but
real
it
or
ain't the
something
God of the
like that.
Bible, though. But it's not the God of the
Well, it
Bible.
is. It is the guy of the
No,
Bible. They just don't recognize him as that.
no, it's
That's
not the
fair.
God of the Bible.
Sure, it is.
No, no.
Why do you say they're
Because
not? Why isn't
because
it the God of the
because
Bible?
the Bible came way after God started communicating with man.
Right, but that doesn't mean it's the same. It's not the same God. How does that follow? I admitted. You're right. I'm just saying, like
So
you're
you have no
familiar with.
problem with the Hindu God being the same God as the Bible God?
No, all I'm saying is like according to Romans 1, you're familiar, that in that
Mhm.
in that chapter 1, Paul talks about this general revelation. It seems to be talking about, just by looking around at creation, God has, made himself known to every human being, right?
Correct.
And
That
he
is
says
God's
that's why
word.
they're without
Creation is.
excuse. Now, of course, that nobody looks at the creation and goes, "Oh, Yahweh." Oh, I know. You know what I mean? Yeah.
No, I
No,
don't.
nobody's saying that.
No.
But that person that was born centuries before any scriptures were written, old or new, doesn't
In
mean,
the Vedas.
if they knew God, right? They knew Yahweh. They just didn't know him as Yahweh. So I don't. You're not
Wait, wait,
saying
wait, wait,
anything
wait.
other than
How, wait.
that.
Oh, no, 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 no. See, I can just say, look, and as a Hindu, Vishnu was there first, Krishna, they were all there first. This Yahweh character came after the fact, and Yahweh was stealing from the freaking Hindus. You just
No.
don't really know Krishna. You know Yahweh thinking you know God, but you really don't know God because Krishna, he was there first. You
Well,
know what I'm saying? You know what I'm
right,
saying?
but
You know what I'm
okay.
saying,
Well,
man?
you can't go between the internal and external critique.
You know what
I'm
I'm
kind of
saying?
appealing to the internal. Like, see, if my statement is based on if Yahweh, the God I believe in, is the creator God, then,
Yes.
and like I said, if Romans 1,
Yeah.
that's what I was talking about. So in a
Yeah.
sense, you're granting that, okay, this is the God. Okay. And if that's the case, then it would be the case, Indian or not, Vishnu or not, those guys, you know, and I don't even have to appeal to their understanding of religions. Those could all be whack. But I'm talking about Romans 1 and the fact that every person understands that God exists, and that they are due, obeisance is due to him, or right
No, every
living or
person
something.
doesn't. Wait, no. What the atheists don't have lack of belief in a God.
Doesn't
So they
matter.
certainly don't. They don't understand that God exists.
Okay, but that doesn't mean they didn't once in their life did believe it
No, so
and
we
have
know
come
many
to.
atheists in our community who have never grown up in religion.
Okay, if Paul in Romans 1, if God if the God Paul is talking about in Romans 1 exists, and what Paul explains in Romans 1
You're
is
assuming Paul's
accurate,
correct.
yes, we're doing an internal critique on
Well,
Christianity right
then,
here.
okay. Well, how does Paul know this then?
That's a different question, okay?
Well,
According to the
look, he's writing it
text,
out. Yeah.
Jesus showed up and talked to Paul.
Oh, he had a
That's how.
vision. He had a vision. So you're
Yeah.
relying on a man, you know, who wrote two
Okay,
thousand years
so
ago about a
you
vision he
asked
had.
the question, how did Paul know that?
Right. I'm critiquing it. Why should I believe
Right.
this? Why should I believe this to be true?
Yeah,
How the hell does
well,
Paul know that everybody in the world
my question is
understands that God exists?
why should
How's
you
Paul?
disbelieve or not believe the testimony of these people?
Because that's a freaking mighty claim he's making there. Since we have many different religions now.
So you don't believe Jesus rose from the dead?
No.
Why
You
not?
know that. You know that already.
No, I didn't really know that. I thought you
You
could have
didn't know
allowed
that I
for it,
don't.
man.
No, I left Christianity in 2009.
So, uh,
Can't believe it's been
what?
that long already.
How long? Sorry, I'm rattling. Um,
What you eating?
oops.
Oh, those are good.
Yeah, I love these.
Oh my god, I'm sorry. I gotta get something to drink. I'll be right back. I'm trying to.
Yeah.
I'm doing really good. I'm staying. Really battling
Oh,
with the
diet.
sugar and stuff,
Okay.
but
Yeah.
I'm slowly melting the weight away. But I'll be right back. My sodas, I gotta go like half and half, half
Dude,
zero and half regulars. So I'm weaning myself off.
I think I'm gonna go off all processed food.
Good, good.
I don't know how I'm gonna do that.
I don't know. I'll be right back.
Start small, I guess. Okay, let me end this. See if that goes away. I don't think it counts me as watching, looks like. Brozo put backstage to me, okay. I thought we might have some other people in here. I was maybe assuming, let's see if there's anything in the chat going on. Yeah, William. Looks like he bailed. So. Oh, Halsey, is it story time hour? Why don't you come on in and find out? And you can add to the story. Yeah, so yeah, I'm looking forward to Brojo coming back because I want to talk to him about social the social issues and get his opinion on because he's old enough. Man, I don't know, maybe he's old enough. I probably got like 10 years on him, but um,
I'm back. Where the hell is there? Where is everybody tonight?
yeah, there wasn't much going on YouTube that I could find, and then I don't know. I was yakking up with William a little
Oh,
bit on
hanging
the
out at
side.
that debate with Jill, probably.
I do you think Jill's in? Let me see what Praise I Am is doing because he's probably started the stream maybe. But have you ever been in there?
No,
Oh, look he's having a 12,000 subscriber party,
I
and
couldn't care
nine
less.
and 9 people are watching. No, it's like I'm not saying anything because
But I really saw the assholeness of Jill tonight in this formal debate, quote unquote.
oh, he really.
Constantly talking over the name calling, think he's, uh,
Huh. Name calling, talking
not being able to
over.
stay on topic.
So I thought it was a moderated debate. So I mean, there really shouldn't be that kind of over talking, should
Moderated,
it?
somewhat, yeah.
Okay. Who? Okay.
They had time limits. This isn't,
This must have been during interaction time where
I,
they can
was
go
not,
back and forth or something.
I learned of this channel from listening to, I was on Mallhots today. I think
Okay.
Raging Atheist was talking about it.
Oh, okay.
So I've seen the guy Snake around, but I didn't know he had this channel going. So
Okay. So was he the one that kind of hosted? It was his channel, the snake guy.
him and this girl who's kind of cute.
Yeah, I saw a woman and another guy,
Yeah,
and then the two. Yeah. I saw the debater. I saw Mark Reed, Jill. I can't believe Jill didn't go on. Is that freaking lame? You see 3 squares. All you're looking at everybody.
exactly. That's how I was thinking too.
It's like it already it's score points off.
He's
You know what I
afraid of
mean?
being.
Anybody just watching that?
He's afraid of being doxxed
Well, so he
and
says. I
affecting.
mean,
He's trying to protect his job, and I can understand all that, but then don't talk shit for the Lord. For the Lord.
look, if you don't want to be doxxed, don't get in the public arena. How about
Yeah.
that? Just
Well,
stay on the sideline. I mean, if you're gonna debate, get on camera.
you know me. I don't want to be doxxed too much.
I know, but you're on camera.
All right.
I mean, you're someone I mean, I've always seen you being very, you're very careful about that issue. Like St. Tommy's like a freaking paranoid about it, Like, I mean, he understands like he treats it like it's
But see,
fucking.
my beef with Jill is that you're talking all this smack, and it's about your faith. Well, exercise your faith. Show why you being a coward and hiding behind a camera. Doesn't God have your back?
That I
If
mean,
you're preaching the truth, right? All
yeah.
right. What's the worst you're gonna
Look,
happen? What's the worst that's gonna happen? You're gonna
to
die.
me,
Well, you'll get
to
a
me,
crown in heaven. Then, don't you think that?
if the Bible
Being a
teaches
martyr.
if the Bible teaches one thing that's like indisputable, I think, is that as a Christian or as a worshiper of God, Yahweh, if you believe the stories, right? If if all that stuff's true, all that matters is that you do what God wants you to do, and it might involve being in prison, involve getting your head cut off, son and I mean, you know what I mean? Like the Bible's full of suffer people, those prophets, what they had to suffer just because God called them, Like if you
That's it.
think of it
Jill's
that way.
attached to the world.
Right. And so you should take on that mantle if that's God's will, and through and if, through hell or high water, who cares? Throw caution to the wind, right? God is on my side, right? I think that's what you're saying.
Well, I'm not
So,
saying throw
yeah, I
caution
agree.
to the wind. I wouldn't do that, but I'm just saying if
Well,
you're
I'm
gonna
just saying,
just walk the talk, you know what I'm saying?
if it's God's will that you should be debating, turn your camera on and take
Right.
the, if God wants, obviously God knows it's a risk, right?
We
Well,
know this has nothing to do with God, ironic. This is fucking ego. This is all him. This is all stroking himself. This is the way he acts, the way he talks, how he treats other
well,
people.
either
It's all
ego or
ego.
fear. Fear plays a role in this, so
Mhm.
somehow. Yeah. No, it's not. To me, there's not the signs are not indicative of a honest, straightforward person. That's for sure. I mean, I don't want to diss Jill. To me, he's just a punk that needs to learn a lot more, and thinks he knows. You know, you know, I don't know. These people that think they know and they don't know, and they don't know, and they think they know, and it's just hard to have respect for them. Or except that you need to look. Just remember back when you were young and you didn't know. Maybe, and then you can have some little bit of compassion on these fools. But
Okay. Speaking of, then I want to explore. I want to explore this idea of retardation.
oh, okay.
So, what makes one retarded? Remember, you're kind of equating homosexuality with retardation, a defect.
Yeah. Okay. So when a
So, at what
human,
point is a defect?
yeah. So I don't know all the ins and outs of when, like, how, at what point. I believe, like in the case of someone that, like, with Down syndrome or something like that, there's there's what's called a defect, right? I mean, there's a something in their particular gene string that's off compared to normal. There's an extra something there, or they're missing something. I forget which, right? I think they have an extra chromosome, right? In Down's kids, I think. Let's say that's the
Okay.
case. Okay. Now,
But when,
it's
go ahead.
okay. So the idea is that normally, and you know, the way it's designed, you you have this number and everybody is fine. But it does so happen that once in a while, the there's this issue, and there's this extra gene or whatever, extra chromosome happens, and it causes a physical, a development issue in the child compared to other
I got
children that
that.
don't have that, right? Okay, so
Okay.
I mean, it's so that's what we call it. I would say that's what we call a defect in the the normal operating procedure, right? The normally you don't have that extra chromosome.
So is it that person's fault?
Absolutely not.
So is it the homosexual person's fault?
If okay, so right. So in the case of, like, if I was, as I was suggesting, that if there's a if a person is subjected to an environment which induces him to change his you know the normal change from having normal
But wait,
sexual
you're
desires.
equating homosexuality with retardation. You said retardation is a gene defect. So are you saying homosexuality is based on some biological
Look,
defect,
look,
or is it
look,
based on the behavior of others?
look. The common word, like, I think you're trying to, or at least I'm getting confused a little bit. But what I'm saying is, what I'm talking about is the concept of what it means to have a defect. You know, just to be honest about it. So a person that's born retarded has defective. There's a
And
that's a
it's a defect
defect
because
in the
what?
plan.
Why? Why is it a defect?
It's because there's an extra chromosome involved
Okay.
in that person's
Can that
development.
person live any kind of normal life?
Okay, see, to me, that's irrelevant to. But you're agreeing. I mean, before we go to that question, you're agreeing with me that this is a defect, right? And then we'll go on. I'll answer all those questions.
Yeah,
Is
it's some
having
kind of
that extra
defect or
chromosome, is that a defect?
some kind of mutation. Yeah,
I mean,
but it's still nature though. It's still, it doesn't make it right or wrong. It's just part of nature. It's just a mutation. It's a product of evolution.
but we call it, okay. We call it a defect, okay. In this case,
Because it's
because
abnormal. It's an
because
abnormal
it's not an
abnormality.
it's not an improvement. It's, we know that, like, for instance, I don't believe there's any parent that is just dying, hoping that their child has this extra chromosome when it's born or conceived or whenever, right? This is what I'm talking about. These are things,
Right.
this is a issue it's a rare thing, and a lot of money and effort and
Okay.
time has been spent trying to eliminate it
But I don't know how you equate
from happening, right?
homosexuality with a biological defect.
I'm equating, all I'm saying is that, in the same sense that, all I'm saying, I'm trying, all that's just to making the point where, just like a retarded person, that's a defect. Okay. That's not, that's not part of the plan. The normal, obvious way of scheme of things. All right. I
Is a
mean,
defect necessarily a negative thing?
yes,
Really?
that's why, otherwise it wouldn't be a defect. That's the thing. That was the point about, nobody wants their child to be born with this extra chromosome, right? I don't
No.
believe there's, honestly, any dad that, is hoping
Do they
to
love him any
God,
less? Do you
that
think they love him any less?
his boy, hopefully he grows up to like Dick. I don't think, fathers are normally, that's not their high. They don't, that's not the highest, that doesn't fulfill their highest wishes for their kid. I would just say, in the majority of
I think the
cases,
highest wishes for kids should be one of, you want them to be happy and enjoy life to the fullest, and
and not be gay. That would
not
fall into
necessarily, just maybe.
most fathers would not want their boy, their son, to suck dick. That's just the fact, Brojo.
I got you.
I mean, you agree or disagree?
You're probably right.
Okay. And why is that? Because we're all homophobes?
No, because
Okay.
evolution wants us to have our
Oh,
gene carry on. That's a desire, right?
okay. Well, I mean, all you're saying is, I mean, if everyone was to become homosexual and be strict about it, we'd all die off pretty soon, right? Or
But
at
that's
least
not going to
human beings.
happen.
Well, that's because,
That's not going to happen.
homosexuals are
That's
make
not
up
ever
such a
going to
small.
happen. The
Well,
whole world
it's
is not going
only,
to turn gay.
of course. I mean, they're like 2 or 3% of whatever. I think.
Maybe a little bit. Yeah, maybe larger than that.
Okay, but so, Brojo, you've been around a long enough time, haven't, like, I'm going to argue that, you know because I believe that, this world was designed to, for, the societies, to live in a certain way with each other and things like that or whatever. But um, I, I I think, opening, first of all, the foundation, I think, that God established for society, and, what grounds society itself is the foundation of the family, the foundational family, father, mother, kids, then you get generations, and then you get communities, clans, it's a,
Right.
it's, that's the sort of the natural way, and so and so in society, you know, society functions best, you know. I don't know if we've ever discovered, you know, the best way to run societies, but
Some
you know,
societies think a man should be able to have many wives. What do you feel about that?
well, I don't want to get distracted from that point right now,
All right.
but
Well, I'm just saying. Just saying.
yeah, no, yeah, I personally, I don't. I mean, my personal feeling is I couldn't love two women myself, not equally. Um, so, and I mean, I just myself, I'm a one woman man, you know, one at a time at least. You know what I mean?
Uh-huh.
And but you know, biblically, I would say, you know, God permits it, you know, and it
There you go.
you know, there's a lot of things that, like Jesus was saying in the beginning, it wasn't so. You know, he's answering these people about divorce. You know, why they allow it. You know, well, because of your hardness of heart. You know, God allowed it. Blah blah blah. But it wasn't the original plan. Well, I don't know what, you know. People say, well, see, that wasn't the original plan, but I don't know, that's not that. But Jesus actually just said that. I mean, you could look at it the other way, where Jesus is still, he's saying, I mean, what does Jesus think men's hearts have gone softer now? And God doesn't permit it? I mean, you know, I mean, I don't know. It's
I'm
so
sorry,
to
but
me,
Jesus has no business talking about marriage.
oh, because he's not married?
Man, he's never been married.
Yeah. Unless Jesus created human beings and, you know, in his own image, and he knows what human beings are like and
And
stuff.
he couldn't be tempted in every sin if he was not married. Never married. How could he be tempted in every sin
Yeah.
if
Now,
he's
how
never
could
been
you be
married?
tempted like yeah,
Ryan,
like
I
in
just thought of
all
it. I just thought of that.
ways
I just thought of
if
that.
you were never married? No, that's a good, like, except I think
I'm gonna have to remember that. Write that one down.
right. What comes to mind to answer it is, though, uh, if you have if you've had sisters and mothers and aunts and uncles and grandmas, I don't know, you're not likely to experience anything from a woman that you're married to that you might wouldn't already experience from one of those other types. But maybe, I guess, but I don't know.
You never had to
No, I
deal with a
mean,
mother-in-law. You never had a mother-in-law. You never had the temptation to smack a mother-in-law right across the face.
right? He never had that nagging mother-in-law, right?
Right, he never
Oh,
had that.
well, that's what I'm saying. But he might have had that nagging aunt that was always nagging him anyway. You know what I mean? Like, he would have experienced nagging. He just
There's
wouldn't have
probably that's
experienced
definitely
from a
from.
mother-in-law.
Well, you know that had to be Joseph's side.
But then also you could attack. Well, how literally, or, you know, what was it? How much? What was it? You know, maybe Jesus was using some hyperbole when he said the original statement. You know, I don't know. You know, so there's different ends of that argument you can attack. To, I mean, if because that's what I would. You know, to some of these Christians that like take the Bible like uh they say it's, you know, infallible, every word, blah blah blah, and I don't know,
You
you
don't
get
believe
it.
that? You don't believe that to be true?
No, I don't hold to like the standard infallibility nonsense, I would say.
Oh, so you believe the Bible's fallible?
No, I believe men are fallible, but
There are
I don't
mistakes in the
believe
Bible.
I don't believe there's okay, so I don't believe the authors wrote anything that they didn't mean to write, and I don't think they wrote anything that was wrong. I just don't assign this
How do you know that?
infallibility to them. Well, I believe, okay, so like, if all right, bro Joe, if, like, just imagine you and I, like, we met, you know, in person. Now imagine if we had met 100 years ago, and it was, you know, we were, you know, I was pulling my wagon with my set of horses and you were pulling yours, right?
Right.
And we had some drinks in a tavern over there in Philadelphia, right?
Right.
And we struck up a friendship.
Right.
Okay, so but I went back to Fort Detroit, right? and we started writing each other. Okay, now as
It'll
some,
take a long time.
I'm just saying, so in my communication, my writing to you, and I would trust, and you're writing back to me, as friends, you know, we would be just, we would be convenient, we would be truthful, honest with each other,
You would hope so.
right? And depending on what kind of friends we were, that's how it would be, I mean, like it, that's
Okay.
the kind of friends I. Okay,
right.
so now, all right, so
Dear Irenic, I had an interesting day today. A friend of mine died and then rose again 3 days later.
okay, so, well, that's the point. So, what I want to say is, okay, just
You believe
now,
me?
now, just hold on.
We're
When
back to the flying man now, kind
well,
of
yeah,
deal.
before we get back into that, I'm just talking about. So, imagine, we at any point, like we let's say we've, in my example, we might have exchanged 20, letters over a couple years or something, whatever. But my example would be just like, look, so just as I take, like, if I get one of your letters and I'm reading it, Brojo, I'm just taking it as I'm taking it at face value. That's all I'm doing. And because because I believe you to be trustworthy, I
Why?
take it.
Why do you believe Mark to be trustworthy?
Because I don't have any reason to not
You don't
to
even
trust
know.
what he said.
You don't even know one if he even wrote Mark, which consensus is they're anonymous, right?
Yeah, I
And
mean,
you have no idea of the background. You have
anonymity,
no
but
idea of the background of this guy. You have no idea of him.
well, wait. You know something about it, right? I
What do you
mean,
know? Well, his
well,
profession.
okay, so are you aware that there was,
So what? You know his
sh-
profession.
well, let me ask you a couple of questions, okay? So, were you aware that shortly after Jesus was crucified,
But
right?
people I fucking know, if they told me something crazy, I would definitely doubt them. So there's no reason I'm gonna freaking not question a stranger. Someone
Right.
I don't
Well,
even know. I'm
yeah,
removed
question
2,000
away,
years
but
from.
I'm trying
I'm
to
sorry.
build up to a question. Okay, so I mean, okay, so you do realize that there was a movement in the first century, historically it happened, that a bunch of people were making these claims, and what sprung out of
There's a
that
shitload of messiahs and prophets around.
was
Yeah.
this ended up worldwide movement called Christianity. Like, is that, I mean, is that accurate?
There was a shitload of end time prophets,
I'm talking about
messiahs,
Christianity
and
specifically.
Christianity was like first couple hundred years didn't know so many people believed so many different things about who Jesus was and everything until you had some
Well, hold
kind of
on, hold on.
set
I'm talking about, no, hold
dogma
on.
set a couple hundred years later.
Okay, are you saying that there was not a uniform group of people who did within the Christian name that they took to themselves? Of course, there were people that had different takes on certain things, but there was this umbrella term that people would call themselves Christians because it was related to this dude they believed in that they believed had risen from the dead, right? I mean, that
Well,
was
I
a
don't know
real
if everybody believed that he rose from the dead, or even he was in flesh. Some don't even believe he was flesh. He was just a figment of
right,
like
but
a ghost.
nobody denied that he rose from the dead, right? All those questions were about, well, did he really have a body, or? But like I said, even
I don't know.
Even if you include the Gnostic Christians, they were Christians. They weren't something else. And that was located right there. It started
Okay.
right there
All right.
in Jerusalem, and then
So
it
a bunch
went
of
into the
people
Roman world,
believe.
right?
Okay. Okay. So
I'm not claiming that's all. I'm not claiming anything. I'm just saying these are the historical facts. And
right.
you agree or
Okay.
not? Not.
Right. Sure. Yeah.
So
Stories
okay,
about this dude.
so
Yeah.
okay, so all right. Now listen. Now, if you could allow that, now if you do grant that the stories are true, right? Let's
No. No. No.
hypothetically.
I grant that their stories were made. I'm not
Okay,
saying they're
so
true.
okay, so let's do a hypothetical. Hypothetically, if this really happened, Jesus was who he said he was. Hypothetically, just for sake of argument here. Now, I'm going to suggest that there was, despite people that went like the Gnostics, or obviously there was people that were going to have all kinds of interpretations of when they came across the story of Jesus. Who knows what they might think, but it seems to be the case that the apostles thought that there was a certain way, and Paul tried to explicate it, and he, was his mission to the Gentile churches, at least, was how to have a relationship with his God of the Jews, who's now opened the doors to the Gentiles. So Paul was trying, it was his, he saw it as his mission to, explicate these things
You
to
get to
these
a
people.
point here or what?
Yeah. So now the point is that there was the church, and there was people that would go off. They were heretics, but there was the basic
Who are the heretics?
church.
Who are the heretics?
All those that the apostles were calling heretics.
According
I would
to
limit
something
myself
written
to.
in where? According to where?
According to the New Testament. Okay,
So you
so
don't understand what's
anyways,
happening here right now?
yeah,
Yeah, according
you're
to
getting
them, they were heretics. But how do you know they were really heretics? Again, people believe so many different things about who or what Jesus was.
that was back in the
So these things that
hypothetical.
are put in a
We're assuming,
Bible as scripture, as canon, didn't happen till hundreds of years
Brojo,
later,
Brojo,
decided by a bunch of bishops.
Brojo. The way we know it is because we have assumed it for this argument. You must have forgotten.
I guess so.
Yeah. Anyway, my point is, there was a church. There was a group of people in that first century that so Mark, or whoever wrote that book, didn't write his testimony in a vacuum. There was and there was a reason. Okay, so the fact that the church embraced it gives weight to the that most people, gives weight to the idea that most
that is true.
most people
So are you saying that just because
accepted it as authentic? That's all.
You're
it
making a
means.
fallacy here? No irony.
What's the fallacy?
Because you're thinking just because a bunch of people believe something, then it must be true.
No,
You saying they believe, this church believed that these are reliable letters or something.
No,
People
I'm
believe it.
countering
People that
your
are mostly
statement.
illiterate, they don't
No.
know how to read and write. They didn't know how to critically think.
I'm answering your criticism. I'm only answering your criticism about the anonymity of the letter, as if it just popped out of thin air, out of no context. I'm saying that book was written in the context where there was a lot of people around that would be able to attest to it, or on the contrary, show that this is bullshit. So I'm just
How you
saying.
know it's not embellishments based on a character like Jesus? Yeah, could have existed. But maybe he was just some priest, and then they embellished stories. They added some. It happens all the time.
No. What reason is there to believe that happened in this case?
Because it's more likely than somebody who actually rose from the dead.
Huh? How is that more likely?
Because people don't rise from the dead.
Well, you're assuming that.
No, I know that. Not
No, you
no,
don't know
no,
that.
100% with 100% certainty.
No, you're
But I've
assuming
never
it.
seen or heard of anybody rising from the dead with enough evidence to prove that they rose from the dead,
Okay.
right? Otherwise, why shouldn't I believe other claims of other gods that rose from the dead? There's other claims, before Jesus, there were other gods who,
I'm, my position
torn up in
is,
pieces and they came back to life.
my position is, unless you have some reason not to believe them, that's rational, then you should allow that it could be the case.
Well,
And
then
not just, why do you reject
that's
it? You
dangerous.
shouldn't
That's
reject it.
that's dangerous because
Why?
that makes somebody gullible. You'll believe
It makes
anything
you
then.
open-minded, is what it does.
No, it makes you gullible
Gullible
because it means you'll believe anything.
means you believe anything.
Yeah, you'll believe anything. You'll believe any kind of claim just because he sounds trustworthy. A lot of people
No,
believe
I
it's
said
true. A lot of people, they say he sounds
no.
good.
I
Must be
said
speaking the truth.
unless you have some reason not to believe it,
Right.
should
Those
you
things
should
don't
take
happen. That's the reason I have for not to believe it is that
those
uh,
things don't happen.
people don't rise from the dead. People are not healed. Blind people are not seeing
Okay,
because of
so
prayer.
weren't you?
People are not, you know what I'm saying? The miracles are not there. So I
But
have reason
why is it?
not to believe it.
So you don't see that argument you're making is a logical fallacy. You just don't care in
No.
this case.
No, I don't see it as a lot
It doesn't follow. It doesn't follow from the fact that you've never seen a resurrection that it can't happen.
I'm not saying it
admit
can't
that,
happen,
right?
but I'm not
Okay.
saying it
Well,
can never happen, but the likelihood of it happening is like me dropping something and it floating in the air. That's the likelihood.
okay. So what you're saying is that you're talking about odds. The odds of a one. What's the odds of any one-off thing happening? There's a lot of one-offs, right? That you could say if you would have thought about it
But
and
if I'm going
questioned
to accept your
what are
claim
the
as for
odds that something
resurrection,
like
then
this.
it's not a one-off. It's not a one-off. If I'm going to accept your
Yeah, it
claim,
is. Yeah, it
no,
only
it's
happened
not
one
because
time.
there are other claims for resurrections. How come you don't accept those claims and those gods?
No, I'm talking about Christianity specifically. The resurrection of Jesus was a one-time event that, according to Christianity, I'm not talking about other resurrections right now.
When Jesus, well, yeah.
But the
Unless you
world
talk
is
to
full
Richard.
of story. Are you saying there's no other stories about resurrection in history?
Yeah, other gods. Yeah,
Okay, so
these
you
man
don't believe
gods.
those?
I don't
You don't
believe
believe
them
those?
happen. No, they're just stories. They're myths. Do you believe them?
Well, I don't know why I shouldn't. I mean,
See,
I
see
don't
what I mean? You are gullible.
I don't automatically disbelieve them. Why would I? Why
I
do you
think that
automatically disbelieve? See, that's a fallacy. You're
no, it's not because
closed-minded.
shit like that doesn't happen. It's
Oh,
about
yeah.
probability. It's about probability.
No, that's illogical. You've
No, it's not.
lost
It's
your.
about probability, ironic.
No,
What's
no,
the
it isn't.
probability of someone rising from the dead?
If it happened, what does it matter? The probability of something happened doesn't mean it can't. I mean, just because it
Right,
has
and
a
turtles
low
can fly too.
no, just
I
because
have a
something has
flying
a low
turtle. Did you see my flying
probability.
turtle? Ironic. Remember that conversation we had about the dragon in the garage? Do you remember that?
I do.
Yeah,
I
that's what I'm
stick
saying.
to it.
You would believe somebody if they told you they had a dragon in the garage.
No,
You would believe
I
your
would
own mother.
believe
Yeah.
someone. I only. I believe somebody. I believe people that are trustworthy.
Even though they'll tell you an outlandish claim, right?
If
That
they're
makes them,
it depends if they're trustworthy or not, Brojo. If someone that's trustworthy tells you something, should you believe it?
yeah, but you have not established the
Will you?
trustworthiness of
Oh,
one. You have no witnesses. There are no
wait.
written eyewitness. There's no eyewitness testimony for the resurrection. First of all, so you have no idea the
Okay.
trustworthiness of unanimous authors.
Why would I expect?
Establish any trustworthiness there.
Why would I expect to have eyewitness testimony of an event that happened over
Why do
2,000
you
years
trust?
ago?
You're trusting somebody you never even heard or met or spoke to or whatever. You're trusting with this outlandish claim that someone rose from the dead. Why would you
Well,
trust this kind of this? Why would you trust that?
one good reason. Well, I mean, one reason why I personally trust Like I have a lot of confidence in the Bible because it comports like whatever the Bible says, everywhere it teaches things, to me, it comports exactly with what my experience of life is in spiritually, in the invisible realm that I've had encounter with, in my
Okay.
life, as far as I'm, my subjective
Right.
experience of it.
Exactly.
It's
Okay.
like, yeah,
Okay.
that's
But it
reason
doesn't mean
enough,
it doesn't mean it's the only. It doesn't mean it's the truth, the only way. Just because I
Wait.
read it, experienced it, had this experience growing up in a certain culture, being raised in a certain religion,
Mhm.
it's no different than anyone else in any other culture. So,
I'm not making that claim.
I know, but it sounds like you're going there. It's
No,
it. I
huh?
mean, I can't deny your experience, but you have to realize it is subjective, and it's just it doesn't mean it's the absolute truth
Well, I'm just saying. To me, that's it's evidence for the truth of
for you.
everything else in there.
Evidence for
But
you.
exactly. I mean,
All right.
everybody has to believe what they think is.
Okay.
I mean, I think most people, sort of in their center, they want to believe what's true. Don't I mean? Am I wrong, or most people don't care about it? What do you think? Do you think people care about the truth and like want to make sure if they believe something it is true? I mean, I don't think you can believe something you don't think is true, can you?
Um. But we've seen it so many times where that cognitive dissonance happens.
Right.
You know.
But I think cognitive dissonance can be, at least pointed out to a person, maybe, over time at least. But I'm just talking about, like, if
It
you,
can shatter some people.
do you think it's possible to believe in something that you know is not true?
Mac the Human says, "I love you guys, but I'm bored. See you around." We
Oh,
bored
there
him.
goes our one view. No, I got 3 viewers. Look at that.
We bored him. So come. Well, what do you got to? Well, he's gone already, so I'm not even going to address him.
Yeah, that would have been nice. I mean, so do you think, you don't think someone can believe something they know to be false, right?
No, I don't think so.
I think people can be deceived into
I,
thinking false things are true and believe them,
yeah,
right?
you can be.
Right?
Yeah, you can be wrong, but you can be sincerely wrong.
Right. You can, yeah. I mean, you can be honestly wrong, right? I mean,
Yeah.
I would say, if I'm wrong, I'm being honest, at least in my effort. I mean, that's what I appreciate. Like, that's a great quality to have for in your friends, like, or at least those kind of people who at least uh, respect the idea of truth, and want to align themselves with it, or have truth as a goal, some kind, they value that idea. Those are the kind of people I'm
I
attracted
like
to.
the definition that truth is what comports with reality. I like that definition.
I'm fine with that.
And reality tells me that miracles don't happen.
Really?
When I see reality, of course, I haven't experienced all of reality. I only know my reality.
So when you say miracles, like, you wouldn't, okay, like, I don't know, maybe upon like reflecting, you never had any kind of indication that there's anything more to this life than the physical material world. You're not in that camp, are you?
Well, I can speculate.
No, I'm talking about your personal experience of anything other
Oh,
than,
my personal experience would not necessarily point to an afterlife. No.
but would your personal experience point to anything more than a strictly physical chemical makeup of everything. You know, like you're not a materialist, are you? Like that's what I'm asking you. Like you don't.
No,
Maybe you do though. But is
no,
all that exists is the material world?
no, no.
Now you might have a different understanding of what the material. Like you might say the material world is all that exists,
There's some
but
kind of
I
stuff.
don't
I don't know. In
understand
pretty
it as much.
simplest terms, it's some kind of stuff.
Well,
I don't
this
know
is
what to
what I was
describe it.
thinking. That's what I was thinking. Like I was thinking you don't like you might say that look, I believe that the world only consists of what it does. What you guys call material. I'm not sure about like it's stuff. I don't know. It's got weird attributes, right? Or and some of it, you know, there seems to be some kind of relatedness about it that I sense, or I don't. I'm just now I'm trying to fill in from what I've heard, but like you don't believe in a material world, but you do believe in the universe. Like you do that believe that the
I do believe
universe.
there's some kind of there's a bunch of systems that are interdependent, intertwining, communicating with each other somehow. And I think in some weird ways, when we have these weird anomalies happening in our lives, sometimes, like
Mhm.
thinking of somebody and they, that you haven't heard from in a long time, and then they call, these kind of weird
Like
things
sort of
that
incredible
happen.
coincidences kind of things.
Yeah, but I think, I think you can actually create by knowing that. Oh God, it just gets
Hmm.
into a lot of wooish stuff to
Okay,
people.
but it has something to do with. Okay, but you might not. Okay, so I think what
But
you're
it's only based on
describing is a
experience.
sort of a
Again, my experience.
natural. Sounds to me like what you're describing is sort of a natural interconnectedness of everything to each other.
Right.
That's not. It's very difficult to
Right.
define or to
Think
even
of like
understand how it is we're connected. But
think of
it.
like a web. Like the
Mm,
internet, like they call the internet the web, right? Or a
mm,
spider on its web, right? A spider can detect when something so light goes onto that web
right, right.
because the way it's designed, right? Every
Mm.
vibration is felt.
Where to the
It's kind
human
of
eye, we would never detect the vibrations so small that that spider feels like knocking on a head, or whatever, right? But we might not see
perhaps
it.
not, but we can, I think, raise our awareness of it to a degree. And I
Okay,
think
okay.
when it comes to religion, from this is just from my thoughts now, and how I equate some of the experiences I've had as a Christian, which I cannot explain, but I still say it was a kind of a God thing.
Mm-hmm.
But how I would explain religion is kind of putting the blinders on or limiting your sight. That's why you have dogmas and these structures and beliefs that actually limit your idea
I see what you're
of
saying.
God.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm
Mm-hmm.
saying? So for me, it was like, okay, my experience God, and I was just experiencing it through the glasses that I was a kid, or the lens I was looking through. You know, so that
Mm-hmm.
lens, for the most part,
So, hey, one of the examples I was thinking of, and I don't know if you've heard of this, but there was, I think it was Japan. So
1220,
in,
happy 420.
oh yeah, let's do that. I gotta pack a bowl in a minute. But in Japan, they have this very sophisticated railway system, municipal railway, and you can imagine how complicated. Like if you saw the map, on a computer,
Oh,
right?
they created with a bacteria. I heard.
Right. Okay. So
Yes,
this is what I
I
was
heard
going to
about
say.
that.
So there's this bacteria
Yeah,
that I don't know how they do it exactly, but they
yeah, I remember seeing that video.
and
Yeah, I don't know. Yeah,
it takes a little time for this thing to get off the ground because it sort of seems to it goes out in all directions, sort of starts out with, but then it'll go a certain direction, and then it might stop there anyway, but it ends up like before long,
didn't
man,
they
this
make
thing.
like a model of the terrain or
They
something, and
I
then
think they actually correct, they could use the model that the
to make the best
bacteria
routes and stuff?
created to improve their on human idea.
Right.
Human ingenuity is basic.
Right.
Bacteria was improving human ingenuity, or on that. So anyway, that's the kind. Okay, so do you see how that's kind of related to the idea that
Not miraculous
somehow,
though.
like, we don't understand that, but somehow there seems to be some kind of intelligence there, right? And so we have intelligence, animals have intelligence. It seems like, is there some kind of residual, I don't know, rocks, do rocks maintain, like, can they hear, or, are there vibrations running around in rocks, that are, I don't know, whatever. Anyways, it's just weird, right? It opens the door. Some of these things open the doors to these kind of questions, I guess.
Okay. Yeah, no, I hear you.
And now,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, a strict atheist would be laughing at all this, though. Yeah, right. Okay. A heretic, are you up yet?
Oh no, Heretic is. He's,
I don't know what time he gets up, but if he
What's
wakes
today's
up at
date?
like
oh my God, today's the
25th,
Oh, 20. Oh, okay. Today's Monday, the 26th.
26th, Monday the 26th. I got a dentist appointment tomorrow.
I got to register for my next photography class.
Oh, you have to register for each one?
Yeah, it's
Or-
different, like different subjects.
Oh, okay. All right.
If I want, I mean, I don't have to, but then they
Sure.
like you get like a certificate after you do a bunch. What's a baby? Oh, my cat's being a
So
baby.
is when you register for one of these classes, does that generally include a couple sessions on a certain thing, or just one class?
It's
Yeah,
usually 3 classes on a subject.
per subject, right? Okay. So you did one so far?
I did one, yeah.
Okay. Well, you must have liked it.
Yeah, I did like it. That's good. Yeah. I'm still, it's, one thing that the teacher said, and it's a good reminder. It's about, it goes, and it goes for anything, right? Time plus effort equals results. So I have to, I can learn about what the different functions are about the camera stuff, but now I have to spend the time with the camera doing it,
Mhm.
on hand. So it's doing that, So I did some of that today. I was taking some pictures today, and I
Well,
took
that's
some
where you
pictures
can
at a
practice
wedding.
makes perfect. You can't get away from
Exactly,
that
yeah.
one.
So I really want to get more of a handle because it's just about three different settings on the camera, and learning how to adjust those settings. You know,
It's kind of like electricity and the way voltage and amperage and
exactly.
wattage or whatever interrelate with each other because they have a symbiotic relationship, right? If you decrease the amperage, you're going to increase the voltage. Let's
Exactly.
say if
Right.
if
Same idea, right? Because how sensitive, how much light goes into the camera for how long,
Mhm.
then you have the shutter speed, how much you let in a certain amount of time.
for how long? Yeah.
Right.
Mhm.
Depending on what kind of image you're trying to catch. Like if you're trying to catch something that's moving fast, you need a shutter speed that's going to be quick, to
Uh,
catch that stop
and
action
and
motion.
and generally, if the faster the shot, you need you mean I think you need more light, don't you?
Right. So then you have more light, which is like like your aperture, the stuff they call f-stop. That's like
Uh-huh.
just imagine, yeah,
Yeah,
it opens and
2.8 or
closes.
something like
Yeah,
that.
how much light is allowed in, and then you
Right. It's
have
like it's
then
like
you
your
have a
eyelids
sensitivity to
closing.
light. You know,
Uh-huh.
the if you ever
Yeah.
heard of,
So,
yeah. So it's
well,
learning these things and then making those adjustments, like
but
to
in a class like this, it's great that it's hands on. I mean, it's like explaining these things, but it's more
right,
like look at do it. Like set your
exactly,
camera on this and and
right,
after a while, hopefully, like my playing a guitar, it just becomes natural. Like
exactly,
when you'll look at what you're without the camera, you'll look
right,
and you'll say, oh, I know what I want to do with that, and
exactly,
you'll be able to just go "Hmm,"
And it really is very when you have the good camera that kind of is capturing what you really want to get at, or
hmm
like it's very satisfying to capture certain moments. Like I was at a wedding and I was taking some pictures, and
Well,
it
I
was like,
like those
wow, some of
early
these
morning
pictures.
fog
I
shots.
mean,
You
some pictures I was like, I really like the moment I captured, and of course there's many that are just crap. You just learn.
Well, that's the good thing about the new digital cameras is it doesn't cost you film for crap
No, yeah,
shots. Could you
exactly.
imagine back in the day, man? All those like you'd have to, you'd have to first you take the roll and then you got to do it. You got to process it in your fucking
Right.
dark room, and then you hang them all up and you go, oh shit, I got one good one. It's
Yeah,
like, you know what
right.
I
Yeah, I know.
mean?
We're so fucking
Like imagine
spoiled.
those professional photographers, all the film that they went in the trash can just because.
And you used to buy the different types of film, right? That was your
Mhm.
ISO, the ISO.
Right.
Like you would get
The
the
100, 200, 400.
right, exactly, depending on how much the
Yeah,
lighting
that was for
conditions you were
speed.
dealing with.
That was mostly for speed, right? Like you get like faster
It was a
film,
matter of
right?
how much light was
Depending.
allowed in.
Well, like if you were gonna take pictures of your kid's high school football game, him out in the field, you'd want to hire, right? You'd want to get the 400 or something because it
No, you would only
requires
probably need
less
100.
time to, huh?
You
I
probably only
thought
need
100
100.
was more for slower, like when the aperture's open longer or whatever. Or I don't know. I guess maybe you see, like
It's a
I'm just
sensitive.
talking shit now.
It was a sensitivity to light. So the lower it is, it's more like daylight pictures. Say, if you're in daylight, taking pictures in
Yeah,
daylight, nice
yeah.
bright
Daylight would
shiny
be
day,
100,
you'd be
100
like
speed, right?
100. Yeah,
That's
100,
yeah.
200.
So like yeah, but like sitting for a portrait or something in regular light, 100 speed, right? But I know that you would use the 400 for like quick shots or like if it's more of an action shot, or if it was darker, right? Then you'd use
Maybe, yeah, right,
like a
because it's
400
allowing more
speed
light in.
would get you better shot in
Right, because it's
dusk.
allowing more light in. It's being more sensitive to light. It's allowing more light in.
That's what it is.
Now the
Yeah,
only thing
because
is, the
okay.
higher you go, like then pictures get grainier because
Uh-huh. Like I don't know what's the range on your camera, like what's the high, like how high can it
oh
go?
god, it goes to like 25,000, I think, something like that.
You mean for the speed sensitivity
The
or that
ISO.
400, yeah, the ISO, like the film speed we used to get by 100, 200, four
Um,
hundred. That number 400, I, is that ISO, isn't that the ISO?
it's pretty high. It's
Fucking
pretty high.
25,000 sounds like wow, that's
Right?
incredible.
It's pretty high. Oh man, the shots I was getting of the moon. Oh god.
Okay, okay, I wonder, you should make sure you go out, and it might be pretty soon, I don't know, when there's the new moon, when there's no moon, and see how good the stars come out, or
Yeah,
see what,
yeah, and that'd be a matter of you having a good lens,
well,
and
your camera should.
that's where you start
Mhm,
spending that money.
mhm.
You want those zoom
Oh,
lenses? Yeah, you're talking thousands of bucks, man. Some of these
oh,
lenses,
well, yeah,
this gets
once if
crazy.
you get
That shit
into
gets
it,
crazy.
man, it's some of those lenses are crazy, dude. Some of these
Hey, Tog's
photo
out there. Tog, come on in.
some of these these photojournalists, or what do you call them, the paparazzi dudes.
Yeah.
They got like cameras
Well,
that'll
just
pull
look
in a
at
ship from 5 miles or whatever.
the sporting events, man. Just look at those zoom lenses they have.
Hmm.
Yeah,
So are the Eagles doing all right, or
Eagles are doing great.
what's their record this year?
3-0 now.
Okay, all right,
Yeah,
cool.
they're
And
doing real good. And I didn't realize that
how many
fucking
division games have they
the
played yet?
quarterback's a fucking beast.
What's his name?
Hurts. That's the way he's got written. His last name's Hurts.
Oh wow. So there's got to be those
But I mean,
memes.
usually you think, I don't know. When I think of quarterback, I think someone more, thin, able to
Hmm.
be able to move around. But this guy, he likes
This
to
guy looks
run.
muscular.
He's like a running back. Yeah, he's muscular. He's like a running back, quarterback though.
Uh-huh. Yeah, but it doesn't sound like even your typical quarterback that runs. Like, even like who was the guy for Atlanta? He went around. He got in trouble for gambling, with dogs and all that shit. Do you remember that
Well,
guy?
that
He
was
was really
Vic.
good quarterback.
He was in the Eagles for a while.
Okay, right.
Vic,
But
yeah, he started. It seemed like he started that trend.
but
Quarterbacks
he
running more.
wasn't he wasn't the muscular figure like you're describing though. I
No,
mean, he was
no,
just a good athlete,
no.
I guess, regular shape. He was sort like the model quarterback, more or less, but he had wheels, right?
Yeah.
But this guy, he's
But yeah,
pretty
yeah, it
tough,
seems
huh?
like, yeah, you could tell I mean, he beefed up even from last year for sure.
So if he won't hesitate if he gets a chance to, like, if it opens
Oh,
up,
not at
he'll just
all.
take
No,
off
dude,
and get
dude
the
runs the
10
ball a
yards,
lot.
right?
Yeah, not a problem.
Quarterbacks like that are so dangerous, man.
That's the
Especially
thing.
if they
Yeah,
can
they are.
throw. If they can throw, because they'll open up that fucking line just like that, man, right? With a fake. That's
Yeah,
where you get all that fake. And if you can, oh my goodness.
it's a dangerous weapon.
I like it. I like that. How's the
Probably should see
defense
more
though?
of it.
Is your defense good? Or?
I'm not sure. Yeah,
Okay,
seem
so
all
you
right.
got at least a kind of
I'm
an
not a
exciting
fanatic.
offense this
I
year.
just it's entertaining. It's like, all right, Philadelphia. We're just team that root for the state team. Kind of deal.
Oh,
Just something to
it's
do. Yeah.
sure.
I don't get it all hung up on the stats. Maybe I'll see. I'll recognize a couple players. Because they got a couple new players now. So,
Well, it seems here's probably Tog, I guess.
oh, it was funny. They're playing now. They call them
Hey,
The Washington
Hello.
Commanders now.
Yeah.
That's so fucking lame. But anyway, the quarterback is the old Eagles quarterback, Wentz, from last year or 2 years
Oh,
ago.
okay. I haven't
Won the
followed, so.
Super Bowl. Well, kind of won the Super Bowl. What's up, Todd?
Ooh.
The Canaros.
it's really stupid to call a team to change the team name to the Redskins because if you're going to go back in history, you're going to have no idea who you're talking about when you look at Redskins championship because
Right.
that's going to just, that's just stupid. You're just going to have to mention that they were called the Redskins anyway. So how
Dude,
freaking dumb.
it's just part of it was like that was one of the earliest things about like the woke bullshit, was
Right? Indiana
right?
Chiefs. They
The
did that with, or
Braves.
not the Indiana, the
Is
alumni
it
Chiefs
is it still
for
Atlanta
Illinois.
Braves?
Is it still the Kansas City Chiefs?
I guess so.
I have no
But
idea.
you know, I guess. Oh, what's the argument? Atlanta Braves. Well, brave. That's a great attribute to be a brave. That's a commit. That's not a. I mean, is that the argument? And then like Chiefs. Hey, everybody wants to be the chief.
Chief, right? Yeah,
That's like.
exactly. But Redskin, that's like
But you can't have the Cleveland fucking Indians.
yeah, right.
Next thing you know, they're going to be changing the state of Indiana's name. It's too offensive.
Although get rid of the Cowboys. They're too
Yeah,
oppressive.
right.
Oppressive of the Indians.
As if the Indians had won, they'd be worrying about fucking being nice to the white dude.
Call it the Texas Oil Riggers instead of Cowboys. The Oil Riggers.
Get rid of the Yankees. New York Yankees. The South find the defensive.
You know what? I think we should take a poll. They should do a national poll of all the Cowboys and ask them if they want to be associated with that Dallas team. I don't know. Something tells me most Cowboys are in Dallas or in Texas, so maybe.
They're actually in New Mexico, Arizona.
Oh, Okay, I believe it. I, sp- I know there's a lot of cowboys in Arizona. I lived there for like 10 years. I mean, Gio's a cowboy, and he's in
He's a
Arizona.
cowboy. I forget. There's like the distinction between the ranchers with horses, right, and then the cowboys with the bovines.
So respect the Cowboys.
I don't know. I like the cowboys. When I think of a cowboy, I think of like the kind that was in that Lonesome Dove series where they're taking like 500 fucking cows from Montana down to Texas. Those are cowboys. You know what I mean?
Right.
Those fuckers would be rugged motherfuckers, I bet. Tough, right?
God damn, yeah, that fucking free range. Hell yeah.
Imagine like back in the 1800s being a fucking cowboy, late 1800s, and just being a rugged dude that would live out in the weather, the elements, and all that shit, man.
I respect.
Totally, man. Those are fucking men, dude. I mean, that fucking woke shit. Imagine back in that day.
The closest thing I got to that doing that is delivering mail, man. Fucking miles through all types of weather. It's
Mm.
fucking crazy.
Yeah,
Now you know, and I laugh at people who fucking like, oh, it's a little drizzle rain. They get all fucking like, I'm like, really? Little fucking
no
rain.
respect for that.
Are you fucking kidding me? Little snow, fucking an inch or two snow. You fucking crying? Come on.
Look, anybody that has lived in like the upper Midwest or whatever, Northeast or close enough that have winters, like fucking Detroit has 5 month long winters, man, and you got to work. If if you're in construction or whatever, fucking work goes on. It's like you try to accommodate it, the cold, but fuck, man. I can't tell you how many times I have
Northeast,
just
as you know, the
frozen
winter
feet.
is like 2 months. I can't imagine being like in Detroit, living there, or Canada. I'm like, I don't know.
Well, haven't you experienced having to work in the cold where like you're standing there for
Yeah, I
hours with
did, but
like
a couple of
cold
months,
hands
but
and
not for
cold
like
feet?
but not for like
Yeah.
5 months out of the year.
Well, I'm just saying whatever. Everybody's
I
if you
just
live in
yeah,
that area and you're an electrician, fuck, I guess.
guess
I
you
mean,
used
like
to
Yeah,
it was a lot better in the union, though. I have to say because if at least in the union, it's like you can go to work for 10 minutes, and then come back
goof
and
off.
warm your hands up at the fire thing for like 30 minutes.
Oh shit! Oh, you guys are fucking milk it.
Well, it really wasn't a matter of milking. It was really a matter of we shouldn't
Sure
even
it
been
was.
fucking working. Man, it's fucking 4 below 0, and on the St. Clair River, hanging rigid fucking pipe, 6-inch rigid pipe
So
on
what
the
kind of
outside
union
of the
was that,
building.
man? I thought the union was supposed to be out for the safety of the
Exactly.
employees.
Exactly. What about the conditions here, man? At least give us some extra
Nothing will
money
get
for
done then, I guess.
fucking. What happened to the hazard pay shit? Yeah. No, there'd always be that talk. Oh yeah.
I mean, somebody's gonna have to do it if you want to fucking have infrastructure in places where the weather's bad. Somebody's gonna have to
Hey, it's like we found
sacrifice.
out during COVID, right? Fucking all the fucking grocery employees I mean, every time I went to the store, there was employees working at the grocery store. Those guys were critical, right? Fuck. Imagine man, it makes me sick to think of all the money Bezos made off Amazon during that fucking COVID thing.
yeah, I made money off of it too.
So I love Amazon. Kidding me?
Do you shop at Whole Foods? Are you one of those Whole Food shoppers? You get everything at Whole Foods and you get discount.
I don't.
Because if
Me
you're doing
no.
it, you should take advantage of that. See, you're missing out on savings.
I
It
did
seems
mention-
like it's really good for a family, but I don't know, one person, I don't know, is it?
So,
No.
Brojo,
No.
if
All the
if
stuff
I-
at Whole Foods sucks. It's
So-
mostly like
No.
vegan food.
if you guys, if a person cuts out processed foods, what what can they eat? Like, that leaves like meat and potatoes, right? I mean, vegetables, fresh
Meat,
vegetables and everything, right?
meat, chicken, vegetable, fish.
Just eat everything in whole form, right, or close to it. Is that kind of basically the first thing to start with, or
I guess
I have
now
no idea.
cane sugar, is that considered processed food, right?
Cane. No, if you're having sugar cane, that's not
No, I'm
processed. It's
talking about
sugar
like the
cane.
sugar you buy a bag of sugar. Isn't that
Oh no,
is that
that's
considered
well, yeah,
processed, right?
that's processed refined. Yeah.
Yeah, so the real thing would be to like get some real sugar cane or something organically grown or some shit,
Well, for
right?
me, what I've been doing, I've been cutting out the sugar and just using, substitutes, for my
What do you
morning
like?
coffee. For my
Sativa
morning
or
coffee.
wait, what's you substitute it with a sativa or what?
Not sativa.
Splenda.
Splenda?
I have to find. Yeah, Splendor seems to be the best. I haven't bought
I hate
Splendor.
Splenda.
But
It's
I
so
think I'm
weird
using
how
some blue
lightweight that shit
packaging now.
is.
I'm using some blue packaging. I forgot which one is the
Oh,
blue.
I think I know what you mean.
No, I'm one of those kids that grew up on
Eric.
sugar. You used to eat sugar out the bag. So I'm one of
Uh-huh.
those kids who used to, you dig something to dip it in the sugar and you eat it. So like when Splenda
Oh,
came out,
absolutely.
I knew the fucking difference, and I'm like, no way, I could never
yeah.
eat Splenda.
Yeah.
Can't do it.
I mean,
I put sugar on my sweetened cereal, dude.
Oh, dude, it's been forever
I put-
since I've done that. I used to do that with like what is it called, bananas and Honey Nut Cheerios, and used to put sugar in it.
Oh,
Sometimes sliced strawberries.
I would do cornflakes, sliced bananas, and then before I put milk on, I'd put the sugar all over the bananas, and then I pour my milk on and mix it up.
I don't know how you do it,
Uh,
ironic. We hate people like you. Fucking having sugar, not fucking, man, it's not storing up in your body as fat. But that's the main problem. The sugar is in our diets that makes our body store up that fat. So I've cut out the sugar in my morning coffee, and it's definitely helped. Cut down my
It's so
sugar
funny.
in my sodas.
See if you can increase your metabolism rate, or however that's called.
Get
So,
back into
bro,
my
Joe.
exercise regimen.
So who I gotta what's this guy's name? You'll know. So my mom, on Sunday she listens to this what's his name? Andy Stanley's dad.
Oh, Charles Stanley.
Yeah. Okay, yeah.
Charles
So
Stanley's son,
she-
Andy.
yeah, Andy. But
Charles is still alive?
Yeah, he's still alive, but he's retired now. He doesn't do. I don't
I
think
he used to be one of my favorites back in the day.
Charles Stanley. He's the cool. He's definitely cool. He's like on the back porch country preacher.
Yeah.
Anyways, okay, so anyway, it was funny. So I just go up there for a minute where she's watching and I can listen. And then he's up there and he's talking about at this particular point, he's talking about this idea of exercise and first of all, I mean, he was talking a little bit on keeping yourself like look the part, dress up, you whatever, he's kind of encouraging Christians to take care of themselves. Then he got into the diet thing. Basically, if you just be moderate and whatever he was doing. Anyway, and then I just noticed that. So he's right in the middle of talking about healthy ways of being physically and everything, eating right. And then they pan into the audience. And I said, Mom, look, every freaking person in the audience is like obese. It was like hilarious. Anyway.
Yeah. Right. Just like you got those fat preachers preaching against sin.
Oh, dude,
What about the sin of gluttony?
you can't go anywhere in America.
Technically,
Everywhere-
gluttony is not a sin. You can be as fat and fucking, yeah, it's not a sin. You see, the whole thing about gluttony is that it was only a sin if you're not, if in a sense you don't share your food with others.
Yeah, if
And that's
you're
only
eating
back
stuff,
in the
you should
day.
share, Yeah.
You're right. That's only back in the day when fucking food was actually scarce, right? And then
Right.
so the sign of being fat was a sign of, like it is today, a sign, kind of almost like a sign of wealth and vitality. Because again, you can live to be old and to be fat, which is a sign of your
That's what's going
kinda
on
like
in America. We're too
yeah.
were too wealthy or too too
Or
prosperous.
were they eating processed sugar back then and processed foods, making them fat?
Oh, they didn't
No,
need
the
it.
fact is though, hardly anyone got to eat regular food on a daily basis.
Right.
But the wealthy would at least eat
Yeah.
regular meals, right?
Right. So like whenever you would not like feed in someone else and you would to hold your food to yourself, that's when it would become a sin. That's like what gluttony is. Not that you're just always eating and being fat. It's that you're not giving out to other people and feeding other. That's
I
the
always thought
gluttony.
it had something.
I
Wouldn't it
think
have
with my
something to do-
me getting older now and just realizing like I guess I mean still the principle's there, right? Your body is your temple, you know. So, this is you have a responsibility to, keep it healthy because, if you want to, right, you only hear a limited amount of time. So it's
Yeah,
best
but
to
a
try
lot of
to.
people, they want to eat that red meat and drink that wine or whatever until they die.
And I guess I'm learning, you get older, you start realizing, oh, wait a minute, I can't abuse my body as much as I could when I was younger. You know, things don't heal as fast. You got to kind of I call it maintaining the entropy.
I say that's easier for us to say who had normal lives, but how many fucking disabled people get to say that shit, right? Because they're already fucked up physically. So what the fuck does it matter for them? In what position if they can't help themselves no matter what because there's nothing they could do about it. So that's like again, that's like it's not in a sense all encompassing. That like in a sense, I'm thinking of the phrase, which one? The verse of where Christ is like, "Don't worry about what you put in your mouth, because it's only what comes out which defiles you." Right, in that whole
what goes
sense.
into a man that defiles him, but what comes out. Mm-hmm.
Right, like that, and the whole thing, like that has us. That's like to be taken like more than one way. And one of those ways, I think, is in the sense of like with that has to do with food. It also has to do with like eating idol worship foods in that sense too, because that was a big thing. Like, how do I know that this meat for this other person that I'm eating isn't blessed by another god or deity? I don't want to partake in that meat, and there was a lot of worry about that too. That was going on. So it has there's a multiple levels to like type of dietary things, and that's why ultimately it doesn't matter what you eat anymore, because it's not going to have an effect on your salvation.
Matter.
Yeah.
Well, yeah. I guess that's the attitude that a lot of Christians have. Well, it doesn't matter what I eat because I'm gonna have a new body one after I die. I know if you believe that, okay, but I don't have that certainty. So.
I mean, more or less, it doesn't matter if you eat or not, because, again, it doesn't stop. Like, it's your life to be as fat and glorious as you want. No one's there to stop you, right? That's your life to do what you will, to make your mistakes that you want to make, if they are even considered mistakes, right? Because sometimes that just adds flavor. Someone's weight can just add
until we got to break the wall of your house and forklift you out of it.
Yeah, I don't. You know what? It's so. I don't know. Sometimes
I don't know. People get paid to do that, though, right? So it's just another day of job.
There's something about a society that's sort of saying that it's like a common thing where everybody just assumes that you
fat people create demand.
You keep up a certain level of shit or whatever.
It's true.
Certain things are over the limit. I don't know.
Yeah, where would the healthcare industry be without fat people?
Yeah, if you're always healthy, then you don't need a doctor.
Hey, I'm technically fat. Actually, I'm technically still fat, so I can't say I'm still overweight.
Only thing I need to lose is just my muffin top. I've noticed that I looked at myself, like it sags a lot now, and I'm like, oh, this looks ugly. So I just don't like it for appearances, right? But I feel pretty healthy for the most part. It's just appearance. It doesn't look good. There's it's like a wall of fat underneath. It's like the Terminator, right? It's like there's a hunk of flesh, but underneath it, this is this fucking metal robot.
Well, I don't know about that
looks badass.
because I'm more related to like what Broder was talking about. Like the older you get, man, it's like the aches and pains, like cuts take a long time to heal, bruises, or just everything. It's like stuff stops working like it used to. Oh man, I don't
Right,
know.
that's what the age is. I wonder how many people who are in well enough shape, like physically fit, running every day, that go through the same process, even though they're out there, much physical, better peak condition than what we are currently. I'm pretty sure
I
they
felt
still
so
have their
great
aches
when
and pains too.
I was at the music fest, man, and dancing up a storm. And this guy, he was probably about my age too, maybe a little few years older. And he came over. He's like, "Man, you got more energy than fucking kids half your age here." I was like, "Oh, thanks, man."
I don't know if what's that saying about the kids or you.
Right? Hey,
That's
No,
technically
that's
true
cool.
because
I'll take it either way, man. I'll take the compliment either way.
Well, I'm very active, man. I move fast. I walk fast. I don't know. I'm still very active. I climb stuff. I'm as agile as I've ever been, but I don't want to stop that because I think if you stop, that's when it.
right,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean, I want to be out there shoveling the walk. That kind of shit. You got to learn to moderate. Don't do shit like don't do the full fucking heavy load on the shovel. Do two instead now. You're old. It's hard to stop yourself from old habits too, though. You're always doing shit that, oh man, then you hurt yourself. I knew I shouldn't have done that. But that was shit you would have not even thought about 10 years ago.
Yeah, it's like when you're looking at trying to jump down from something, right? You're like, if I jump down from this, am I gonna fuck
Yes.
myself up? It's a weird
Oh.
fucking feeling, dude. I'm like, and I think about that. I think about my ankles and shit. I'm like, what the fuck is wrong with me? I'm like, just fucking jump. How dare? And I jump and end up cricking my goddamn ankle. It's like,
know what
I
I did
knew
the
it.
other day? This wasn't even that long ago. I was like, I jumped like 3 feet or maybe a little more, but I got so rocked in my whole leg, my lower leg, the bones, right? It just like, it hurt so, for a second, right? And then I was like, wow, I'm not gonna do that again. I don't know. I landed wrong or landed flat or something. I landed right on my heels or something.
Yeah, dude. I remember when I was a kid, I used to be jumping off the roofs and shit. Yeah.
But like, as much as I'm able and agile enough, like I couldn't run and jump and fall and roll anything like in my younger years.
Right.
It's because things are too pain. Like I'm subject to pain if I get hit by if I don't have a lot of meat on my bones first of all, but shit hurts, man.
You know what you guys
Run
need to
into a
do?
table or something.
You know why you guys haven't been to the playground in forever. That's
Uh-oh.
why you need to loosen up at the playground, at the old school jungle gym.
love
Do
the
all that
playground.
climbing, man. They don't have those metal jungle gyms anymore. To where you know what I'm talking about? The metal bars that look like a prison.
Sissified everything.
Playgrounds, they don't exist anymore.
Yeah, man.
I mean, people
They're
don't know
okay.
what monkey bars are.
You gotta pay for it. You have to pay to go into a playground now.
Yeah.
The favorite thing we used to. So this is a good example. Like when I was in fifth and sixth, fourth, whatever, third, fourth, fifth. It was mostly fourth, fifth, and sixth grade. Out at the playground, we'd always, I don't think these are monkey bars. What do you guys call them? If someone said monkey bars, what am I
Yeah,
describing?
monkey bars.
What
Yeah,
does
The
it look
bars
like?
that you do the hand things.
It's the straight up and then across and straight down, right? With the rungs.
Yeah.
Is that a
Right.
monkey bar? Okay. So what do you call the other one? Like the schools always had those like rounded things that were like had a bunch of semicircles at the top, maybe, and then you could go like crawl inside it and around. You know what I'm talking about?
Shit. Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
Those aren't monkey bars.
Yeah.
That's something
No,
else,
right.
right? That's like
Right.
it was like a climbing thing or something, more or less. Okay, anyway, but
Metal
the monkey
tree
bars,
house.
right? So, and maybe you guys did this, but we'd have contests, right? One guy would start at one end, the other guy at the other end, and it was a battle
Yeah.
And the idea was like you try to wrap your legs around the other guy, or in some way get him to fall off, right?
Right, yeah.
And we had some. I mean, you could get hurt doing that. Because some people would grab people and they'd fall and they wouldn't let go, and people would land on their head and shit.
Well, we
Whatever.
didn't do
Anyway,
that, but we did contests like how many times, doing the monkey bars across kind of thing.
Oh, dude, we had murderous dodgeball games in gym class in fifth and sixth grade.
Dodgeball, did the dodgeball, yeah.
Although, when I looked
Red
at
Rover,
a sixth grader today,
that was another good one.
did you guys ever look at a first or second grader and then think, I don't know, reflect on your memories of when you were in first and second grade and think, oh man, I was a little shit then, and I don't know, I must be like I think of some of the things that my memories as kind of heroic or feats of some kind of feats, and then but then I'm like forced to look back at, look, I was that small, wasn't doing that shit, I wasn't like that, I don't know.
I don't know. My first grade year is freaking like, what was it? Around the time of like Tarzan and shit. So it was like early 2000s when I was in first grade, I think. Maybe 1999, 1998, somewhere around there. So,
wow, okay.
That was really good.
I was in '65. I probably was in first
Obviously
grade.
good. I'm like, I was really young in first grade. No shit, retard. Everyone else was like, what? This is old man in first grade, right? The stupid thing to say.
Yes, like I was born in the hospital. I wanted to be close to my mother.
Well, then again, not everyone's born in the hospital. So that one could be like, that one's a little bit more.
No, but you want to be close to your mother is the same kind of idea. Like, what?
Yeah, that one.
You can't be born without being next to your mother, dumbass.
Don't tell the transgenders that, they might get offended.
Uh-oh. Oh, no, careful, Brojo's in here. He wants to white knight the gays tonight.
Oh, you're gonna white knight him?
He's white knighting for the gays. That's his.
I wonder, do gays go by the cheeseburger law too? They suck dick for cheeseburgers.
Todd, do you believe that homosexuals are defected?
Yeah.
Yes, actually. No shit. I mean, I think everyone's defected. Fucking everyone's something type of fucked up.
Now that's the truth right there. That I would definitely say. And I wanted to make that point earlier.
Fucking yeah.
We all have some kind of deficiency, don't we? We all lack something.
Right. Most of it's just basic shit parents should have taught us.
I would say
at least one, if not many.
Every family is somewhat dysfunctional, so nobody's been raised in a perfect environment.
Yeah, or even your body, though. I mean, your mind, your body. I mean, you're gonna have genetic defects.
Right. That's not necessarily your fault, too.
Right.
Can't control how God made you, something the way you speak or whatever. Actually, I spoke a little bit to Mr. Lizard today. He's like, I guess he's like the most big sign of what was it he said? Like where anti-gay establishment first started off was in Rome, or somewhere like that. So that's where the first peakings of anti-homosexual behavior started. Like where people were actually taking up in arms to where, like they had a problem with gays. I forgot the exact reason why he said. I just know that's where he said it started. Like anti-gay shit, I guess. I don't know where the fuck his source is for that. It's kind of fucking convenient, right? That he can say that.
This is before the Bible? This is before the Bible was written?
No, I have no idea.
So to me, in America, there's been clearly a degradation of society ever since the sexual revolution, which basically took the popped the top off the whole gay thing, and then it started being pushed down everybody's throat through media, like shows like Will and Grace or whatever, and then everybody's forced to accept it, because you got to treat the gay people like people, and of course you do. But the fact is they pushed this stuff, and that was maybe beginning in the 60s, late 60s, 70s, all through, and then you get this shit all through the schools. Kids are, and now look at what we're facing today. I mean, fuck. To me, it's all a straight line, connected dot by dot, and that's why I'm against it. As far as for society, I think it's bad for family. I think it's so anything
There'd be
that's
some gay people that agree with you.
anti-family, I'm against it. And that includes homosexuality. Doesn't mean I don't like homosexuals that are individuals that are homosexual. I do honestly have friends that, but I'll talk to them and they know what I don't think it's a societal good,
I
and that
think
doesn't make
it's
me a homophobe.
I think it's not even it's not even that. There's a split even within that there has to do with family dynamics and non-family dynamics. And that's the key difference, is whether people don't want to see people as family units anymore. They don't want to see people as just individuals. Like as caregiver, it doesn't matter that who's your parent, who's not, because your job so alone is to it's kind of like that platonic view of the city and state, the perfect city. You're trying to make the perfect city. So even in that theory, it doesn't matter who you belong to, because you belong to the city. And you're supposed to like work together. I think it's that clash of ideologies and not necessarily
But to me,
to
that
do with,
reduces
sexual preferences.
But don't you see what that does to the worth of any one individual? Any one is expendable in that kind of system. I don't like that.
Right, yeah. It takes away individuality. And makes
Exactly.
us more into sentient soldiers or something along. Like everyone's equal in that sense of, well, you're all equally slaves. But there's always, again, even when it comes to, there's always a hierarchy, because there's going to be a governing class no matter what. Because that's just stupid to say, because there are some people who are going to want to take lead, some people who aren't going to want to take lead. Leaders and followers. It's always been that way.
Well, what's Brojo? Peterson talks about that one. Is it Pareto curve or something? It's
I was
this
just going to
thing.
step away. You want to ask me something? Huh?
Oh, well, it's just what Jordan Peterson talks about. There's this phenomenon across, has to do with social interactions or work, wherever you see it. There's this division of people that rise to the top, and those that are at the bottom, and it's like a fact of nature. It's like a law of nature that things always
You're
divide.
talking about the
So
increasing wealth gap?
no, it has to do with hierarchies and how they form and that kind of thing. Where you're never gonna have, you can never have a society of equals, or equal things out in certain ways,
No.
because it's by nature.
Right.
We
You
separate from each
you kind
other.
of put a group of
It's
men together, and by nature, the
but
hierarchy develops. Then
there's this
the
one guy
natural
that,
leadership arises. Yeah.
yeah, exactly.
Sometimes you'll have a
This
battle of
is
two people.
the discussion behind why that is. How what it this it's a Pareto, or it's like a Pareto curve or something like that. Anyway, you ever hear him talk about that, Todd? That that curve
No,
that
I don't watch Jordan Peterson like that. I've heard a
oh
couple of his videos, but I don't really watch him. All my knowledge all comes off of me, I guess. Like I don't really watch. I hear a lot of guys quote Ben Shapiro, Jesse Lee Peterson, and shit, and Jordan Peterson. But yeah, I'd never really listened to any of those people.
Well, this idea is not unique to Peterson, right?
No, and it's not even his idea.
Right.
It's he's just the one that I've heard mention it a few times. Yeah.
I'll be right back.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm not a big fan of Ben Shapiro. I mean, I first of all, I'm not a hero worshiper at all. I don't follow. I'm not really a follower. I mean, I have people that I sort of I like, and they're smart, and it's kind of, you learn a lot when you listen to them, or that kind of thing, or as long as, but I don't know, I'm always skeptical about what anybody says, and I just, as long as it's checking out and my, everything seems cool, they're telling, those are the kind of people I like. And even if they say things that, like, do you know who God Sod is? I don't know.
I
Do you,
never
do
heard
you
of him.
listen to any YouTubers at all, or
No, not really. No, not. Yeah.
like no YouTube, like you don't listen to Steve Crowder or anything, like, it's not, some of it's not that even serious or
No,
anything.
no, 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 really, I don't. No, the only thing
So
I actually listen to is the only thing I'm currently is Michael Heiser's podcast on the
okay,
Naked Bible series. That's it,
yeah,
and that's on
okay.
Spotify.
Okay, but you do spend a lot of time online, right? Talking about current events.
Not
Like,
really. No,
oh, like I would say we're doing right now. Like we're talking about certain. Like, don't
no.
you?
Most I just come up. I don't look at anything. I don't watch news. I ask about what's going on. I don't follow. I don't have enough time to
Yeah,
like
that's what I'm saying.
watch that shit. Yeah.
But as much as I'm guessing, as much as you participate in live hangouts or whatever, you're not unaware of certain news stories that are blips on the radar. At least, right?
It all depends on if it comes up in conversation. If it doesn't come up, then I don't know about it.
Like,
And if I'm around it,
were you aware that Mar-a-Lago got raided by the FBI?
I don't even know what Mar-a-Lago is. So yeah.
That's where Trump's residence in Florida. It's Mar-a-Lago.
Mar-a-Lago.
So you weren't aware that the FBI, 2 weeks ago raided it? It's a unprecedented thing in history. You're not aware of that, Tog? Just, I mean, it's cool. No judgment. It's just sort of a national story. It's been for a while. I don't know how someone would avoid hearing about it. But you were breaking up, so come on back if you. Well, waiting on Brojo to come back. Oh, who's this? Oh yeah, Tog's back.
Sorry about that. My audio got fucked up.
Yeah, you were sounding bad. I figured you probably you saved me from playing my guitar. Oh, here he is.
So I clipped a bud off my plant today. So I'm letting it dry out. See how this goes.
One of the smaller ones.
It was a nice sized
one of the
bud,
smaller
man.
plants.
Yeah, I took the one off the smallest one. Yeah, the one that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Cool. How many joints can you roll out of the size bud you pulled off that thing once it dries? Do you think?
Man, plug this one.
Oh, you're gonna show us?
I forgot. There's a certain way you can take the moisture out of it faster. I forgot how you do it.
I'm just hanging it upside down. I don't know.
Yeah. Okay. I mean, I think that's fine.
I
Is
might
there
get. I might get. I don't know. Two
couple joints?
joints, maybe.
Okay.
Nothing big either, you know.
It'll be great though if you smoke one of them. Like you do that and you get fucking buzzed out of your mind.
Well, I should. I'm hoping. Well, that's the whole point.
Well, that's not been my experience from people that just grow shit in their backyard on a whim. But
Well, I mean, I bought those special seeds too, you know.
I guess so, yeah. But I think, yeah, I don't know. I think the
They
daily
look
care,
nice.
the
The buds look
lighting,
nice.
they do. Yeah, definitely, they look good.
So I figure I cut the one, clip the leaves off of the ones that are obviously like drying out. But I still got the one that I took out and put in a bigger plant. That thing is still green, man. That thing
Oh,
is still
still like
going
almost
strong.
growing. So
Yeah.
maybe.
I think if I just had more dirt in there, it'd probably be even doing better.
Dude, I have some raspberry plants that were doing so good, and there's like still okay, but the colder nights have got, we've had like 2 weeks of
Yeah, you gotta be
cold
careful,
nights
yeah.
and stuff. So, they're starting to fade, but man, I would have some, yeah, they were, I'm impressed. I just planted them this year too, and I got like this whole pint of raspberries off of them. I've been freezing them as I picked them. So I put in all kinds of fruit this year in my yard. I got strawberries, I got blueberries, I got, let's see, red raspberries, I got apple trees, got 3 apple trees, apricot tree,
Wow,
cherry tree.
you're all set.
I got this little kiwi. If they're hardy kiwis, they're called. It's not the fuzzy ones. It's there's these little kiwis.
All these
So I
trees are
planted.
all on your property?
All this is on my property. Yeah, I got a
Nice.
grape. I planted this nice grape. It's really doing good. A Concord grape. I
Nice.
think that's it for my fruit stuff. But I'm gonna get. I want to get an. I want to get a plum tree. I remember my neighbor when we were growing up had this plum tree in his yard, man, and those were so good. These little purple plums.
I had a house I was renting a room in. They had and this is in Brooklyn. We had a fig tree, and that was great.
Oh yeah, figs are good, but I didn't have any figs till I was older.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean it's kind of cool, I
Are
don't know.
Fig Newtons like figs?
That's
Yeah, that
figs are from Fig
was
Newtons.
at least part in part.
I'm trying to
Good
think
for
of
you.
the fig. What is the Fig Newton song?
Song?
It's
No,
like
this
baby
is
food.
that like Keebler or something like that.
Nah, I'll get it.
Who makes Fig Newtons? Is it always in Nabisco?
I'm just gonna turn my volume up and play
I
it
try
for
to
you.
stay away from the cookies these days, but Fig Newtons used to be really good. Then they made them really small. Everything got small. Echo.
Oh, hold on. I'm gonna turn that back down. Okay, I'm gonna share this real quick.
Yeah, it's odd. Everything used to be bigger portions. Now people are looking for smaller ones.
Big Fig here with that great new dance, the Newton. Hit it, Hal.
Remember this, Bro Show?
Gooey, rich and chewy inside. Golden, flaky, tender, cakey outside. Wrap the inside in the outside. Is it good? Darn tootin'. Doing the big Fig Newton. Here's the tricky part. The big Fig Newton. One more time. The big Fig Newton.
See, look how big those cookies were. They had a lot of figs in there too.
Yeah.
Now it's all fucking cookie.
I just bought a pack of Oreos today.
Oh, see, oh my god, I gotta stay with that. Don't tell me.
I was man, the Oreos, they gone crazy, man, with their stuffings. They had this one, it's called, what was it called? It was a weird name, but I don't know, B-O.
I used to love Oreos. Dip them in
Anyway,
milk.
it had 3 separate filling layers. One was like brown chocolate, one was the regular vanilla, and then the others was a blend of like cookies and cream center or something. All in one cookie, so I was like, I couldn't
You don't
eat
have
that
no
much.
rainbow cookies? Didn't make a rainbow one yet?
I think they do have one.
How about those Italian rainbow cookies? Oh my god, I love those.
Oh, are you talking about where the batters, the different
The
colors?
layers, the different layers of color.
Oh, I think I know what you mean. Yeah,
And
those are
there's
good.
like a liqueur used and like a gel inside between the layers. Oh my god, they're so good. Those Italian rainbow cookies.
Well, I think I'm not sure. Have you ever heard of sambuckles? They're like a Christmas cookie, but I think they might have Italian origins. But my mom makes them at Christmas time sometimes. They have like an almond. It's I don't know. It's like a sugary uh, dough or whatever. But lots of just butter and sugar and maybe a little flour or something and some almond
Gotta lose all
flavoring.
my weight before the holidays.
There you go. And you would press this dough into these little tins until you get a thin kind of thing, and then you bake those, and then you pop them off the tins. But it's just these crispy, delicious, melt in your mouth. They're so good.
Do celery and peanut butter.
Oh, I love that. We grew up on those.
Only reason why is because celery takes more calories than what it gives in, while the peanut butter
Right,
will give
negative.
you that weight it takes back.
Yeah.
Yeah, my mom used to pack, like, in our lunches, some of those, or we'd always grab that stuff. I like it. I like I've always liked the combo for
It
some
took me a
reason.
while. Yeah.
Oh, really? I liked it from the get go. The combination somehow. It's kind of weird.
It's more or less the celery, getting enough peanut butter on the celery. For me, I always did a small dab because that was hot. And I didn't know you could like not dip in more. So I started doing that more. I'm like, oh, because yeah,
Oh yeah, you gotta have the right amount of. You gotta have some amount of peanut butter.
Yeah, not much for the celery. So bland.
Yeah.
yeah, my mom would just like dip the tip in and just like a Q-tip, just dip it a little bit. And then that's it. And then take a bite of that and eat it as is. And it was just too much small. And I'm like, oh yeah. So I
Are you
just dolloped
serious?
the whole thing up in there. Yeah, my mom was weird. She
No,
liked just
man,
the liquid dips.
you gotta grab a spoonful of that crap and then just fill the whole groove with that, and then pile it up a little bit on more than that. But yeah, if you, I guess, I never saw anybody eat it out of a jar using the celery stick. That'd be kind of gross. Dipping you.
No, I'd be like on a fucking plate or some shit. Like a coaster. Like the little, those little plastic ones?
Mm-hmm.
Like you put your syrup in them. Usually get them from the store.
Mm-hmm.
So she'd like get a knife, and then she'd get the dab of peanut butter, and she'd put it in like the little container. And then you just eat it out of the container. Yeah.
Right,
For like lunch or school.
like the little containers they'd give you a side of ranch dressing in or something like
Right,
that, right?
right. Those, you just wash them out and use them for whatever.
Of course. Everybody does that, right?
I don't know. Yeah, maybe. Tupperware nowadays probably makes them now. Tupperware, Jesus.
You wouldn't believe all the Tupperware that addicts have. It's like, that's a bowl. I was just thinking back my son's place when I went to visit him in his attic days. Sad. It's amazing how low people can get in their life. If you ever been,
Right? Yeah, it's
I
true.
don't know if you ever been close to someone that's like really.
Oh, my mom is like that. She's like a fucking hoarder. Her house is her house is a pigsty right now. And I always got to yank at her to fucking clean it. She's like, just let me live the way I want to. I'm like, no, you fucking filth. Get your shit clean. Tired of, like, she's been like that her whole life. But, yeah. So that sucks. I always had to deal with that. So, yeah.
That's a weird thing, man. Yeah, that my best friend growing up, his mother, that she's still alive, and she's getting up there, but her basement is like. Anyways, I don't know why these people can't get rid of shit that they never even look at. And they haven't looked at for 20 years. It's weird.
My mother-in-law does that shit with like Elvis stuff. Like she has like this Elvis doll that hasn't like gone up in any type of value within like 30 years or whatever, since it's been like in the 70s or whatever, right? It has no value, and she's hanging on to it just in case it becomes big, because it's an Elvis product, and those are just gonna sell.
She's probably close to my age, maybe, or She's
Yeah.
63.
She's like 60. Yeah, she's 60 something. Yeah, she's an old bat. Love her dearly. Gosh, this lady still fucking goes out at night and gets drunk when she has to go to work. 63 and still fucking getting drunk and shit. And like, it fucking mind boggles me, man. The fucking resilience of old people, like the human body and shit. It's like she still like drinks and drives. She's
You old person.
It's funny. I was listening. I just happened to listen to this interview that Jerry Garcia gave to Rolling Stone. It was, or I don't think it was. I don't know if it was Rolling Stone. It was some other. It was some other in indie kind of thing up in San Francisco. But anyway, that's not the important part. Anyway, so this was this last interview before he died, and he died, I don't know, he was like 59 or something. He died pretty young, you know. But it was interesting because he gave this interview and like 2 months later he had this heart attack and was dead. But they were talking about something the guy brought up. You know, he just brought up some introductory remarks about the video for the audience that might, you know, that would be hearing it. And it prompted Jerry to say something. You know, it was like, "Oh yeah, cool." You know, if I'm, you know, I guess if I'm dead, and you know, something about, you know. But he referred to his dying, and then, you know, this or that, you know, and it was just really uncanny that ended up he ended up saying what he did, but. I mean, he was a partier, right? I mean, he was smoking and partying until the end. You know? What's so funny?
Oh, the cat. Playing with the cat. Fucking with the cat.
Do you have one or just? Or
Just
more?
one. One's enough.
Yeah, no shit. My wife has like fucking 10 of those goddamn things running around.
10.
Ooh, not that.
Not
many.
literally 10, but fuck, yeah. Might as well be the way she fucking they run around. Jesus, I think it's like 5 now or 6. I can't remember. She found a fucking stray, luckily, and so she's like, "You gotta keep it." You know how
That's
fucking
my
women get.
that's my most
My friend
recent
does
ex
that.
was like that.
I don't feel like losing my relationship
Strays.
over a goddamn cat. I'm pretty sure she would do that. Not really, but you
Feed
never
the
know.
strays and they all come, right? Then they all come.
Yeah.
When I got
Well,
divorced,
no,
we
no,
had
it wasn't-
3
okay, so-
dogs and 2 cats.
She fucking literally
All
would call him
rescues.
Ghost because she thought it was dead. She thought it was just a dead cat in the middle of the road, right? And it's just a little runt kitten. And he was just
Mhm.
laying there all white, like literally just a white kitty. He has like 2 marks above his head. That's about it. Of like some color, like calico color.
Kinda
And that's
cool,
it. She thought he was just dead in the road. She was going to move him. And then he like sprung back to life. And so she's like, "This cat's alive. He was laying dead in the road." And she's like, "I brought him back to life." Like he was just probably basking in the sun and you just fucking woke his ass up.
Right. You probably
So,
took him
like-
away from his home.
Right. And then I was like, whatever. So she's fucking, now she has a cat. One of his brothers died or something like that. There was like 3 little white ones running around, you know, the alley cats or whatever. And we
Mhm.
saw one of them ran up in the road. So I guess he was saved from like a car. So that is good. He's a cute little Zuni. He has like a fucked up leg. He walks funny with a little
I
wobble.
like cats. I do like cats. I think they're cool.
I used to not like them, but ever since my fucking wife, they've grown on me.
Before my first marriage, my wife was working at a vet's office, and he had this pregnant cat come in there, and I don't know, they had to treat it, but that cat died. But they rescued the kittens out of, they took them out, and so we raised 2 of these kittens just at home, feeding him and everything. And man, they were brother and sister, and they were the coolest cats, dude. I mean, they were so much like people. It was amazing. They'd just walk, we'd go walking around. They'd just walk with us. Everything was cool.
Yeah, I have 2, my black cat Arthur's like that. He's like a good companion cat. He'll follow me and only me anywhere. Everyone else can fuck off. He's like literally my cat. I hate that I can't like take him out ever. I wish I could like back in the olden days, just take your animal with you
Yeah.
If people have like
mhm.
health code violations and gay bullshit, well, fuck you. I want to take my animal with me, right? Why should I fucking have to fucking cater to your needs? You know?
That
Maybe I'll do
was
the service cat or some shit, right? And have. Cause I want to get like a little backpack with a bubble that you can just chill in. Be like, let's vibe, kitty.
I had that dream once with my dog. Except he doesn't like anybody except me. It's like it sucks. He'd be the perfect little beach dog to carry. If he was like a friendly little, dog, he'd be like a little babe magnet. Instead,
Yeah.
instead he's a little terror. He's a little devil dog.
I used to do that with my other dog, Goofy Forita. When I had the time, I'd take him out to like the woods and to the park and all that shit.
Mm-hmm.
And yeah, yeah. My mom hated it because we bring him back dirty. Because he's a fucking dog. He's supposed to be doing that dog type of shit. And she'd always just keep him in the house and walk him around the block every now and then. Like, nah, man, that guy needs to be out in the fucking woods and shit. She'd take him to a dog parks too, so that was always cool.
Yeah,
But
my dog
yeah, I
is totally
prefer taking him out to
spoiled.
the woods.
I kind of take, wherever I can take him, I take him, and I never put him on a leash, hardly, because I don't know, I want to be free, and but yeah, I know it works out okay. I just can't take him out to too many public places. But I love taking him up north or something, and where I know, I can just let him go, and I don't know. He loves being out, looking, chasing shit. He and the squirrels in the neighborhood are all well acquainted. They all play with each other. It's funny.
That is pretty funny.
And I swear that the squirrels are in on it too. It's not just a one way.
Bro, no, squirrels are fucking notorious for being fucking shitheads. I remember like one time I was like I think I was like second or first grade, and there was a squirrel like I swear to God it threw something at me twice, and I was sitting there having an argument with the fucking squirrel in the tree. And I'm just this kid,
Uh-huh.
and it's fucking looking at me, yelling at me, and I'm yelling at this fucking squirrel. And then I'm like this school, like I'm standing in front of the school. I'm not going inside the school because I'm having this squirrel with this squirrel, right? And then the fucking teachers, it's like I literally spent like an hour outside yelling at
That's
this squirrel.
hilarious.
And the teacher comes and like, what the fuck are you doing out here? Get the hell inside the school. Fucking autistic, fucking kid. I was like, oh, okay.
Dude, I'm
Like
having
this
an
fucking
experience
squirrel, like you
here.
don't even
This is cool.
understand. Like, yeah, the motherfucker was just yelling at me, and I'm yelling back at him. And he's like responding in his squirrel language. I'm telling him like, nah, fuck you. It was the weirdest shit ever. So I was really fucking stupid back then. I guess that's how I should know. Right there should have been the sign. I'm talking to fucking squirrels. Something wrong here.
All right, guys, I'm gonna bounce.
All right.
Go watch a couple videos before I go to sleep. There's one here that's interesting me. Are UFOs humans from the future? I've thought about that. That would
Humans
be wild.
from the future.
Yeah.
Yeah, all right. Well, we'll have to catch up on that later.
Yeah.
All right, it's been a pleasure.
My dog. Since I'm gonna take the app. My dog is thinking he needs to go outside. So let's wrap this up.
I'm hearing
Todd.
a bunch of noise.
All right. I'll talk to you guys later. Bye.
All right. Have a good night, everybody. Thanks for coming by. We'll talk to you later.